Good morning and welcome, one and all, to Pacific414 Pop Talk. I am your host, Mike. Hope you're all doing well on this Sunday morning, where we will be talking about a few news and pop culture related articles. And by news, I mean entertainment news. And some of the stories I have lined up for this morning are as follows. One being from Variety, and it's talking about how Sylvester Stallone could get his share of Rocky legal. Experts will be explaining that in the article. I probably won't read the entire article, but just try to get to the whole meat and potatoes of the article as far as Sylvester Stallone trying to get some of the rights to the Rocky franchise back. Then the other story I have lined up for this morning is Warner Brothers developing a contingency plan for the Flash movie. Another story I have lined up for this morning is talking about Chainsaw Man's execs teasing Yoshida's anime debut. And another story I have, this one comes from comicbook.com, as does the previous story that I mentioned. It's about Star Wars creator George Lucas and how he had to fight Fox executives who wanted to change the film's ending. Another story I have, also from CBR, and it's talking about what happened to Killzone. And if anybody remembers Killzone, it was a first-person shooter series on the PS3 and also the PS4. So we have that article to talk about. Of course, I have an article from Bounding in the Comics talking about The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and one of its showrunners. I also have an article from Variety talking about what Warner Brothers Games needs to get right under the Warner Brothers digital division, and another story, which I am going to lead off the story, is the passing of Anne Heche. And before I begin, I do want to say good morning and hello to the Comic Relief Crusader. Hope you're doing well, Mike. And I also want to say good morning to Resolute Germ. How are you doing this morning? So let's go ahead and get into our first article. It's a bit of sad news, but, there's no way to avoid it. Whether I start it now or start it at the end. So this article was posted on Friday and says Anne Heche remembered a sad end to a beautifully human Hollywood story. This is by Daniel Diadario, and it goes on to say the news that Anne Heche has been declared legally dead from the injuries she sustained in an August 5th car crash comes as a particularly baleful end to her story. There's not merely the obvious element of human tragedy for Heche and her family, as well as it ought to be said, the woman whose house Heche destroyed with her car, but Heche's final days plan out in a spectacle of tabloid interest and ambiguity around her state of mind comes as an eerie echo of various moments throughout her life in public. It goes on to say, Heche was a star dimmed and diminished by the aura of scandal that she couldn't shake, and one who, despite the tried unrelentingly to bring the audience into her world. Heche was first a gifted performer. She went from being an Emmy-winning soap star to film stardom in the late 90s and seen with, making sure I'm reading that right, and seemed with lead roles in Volcano and 6 Days, 7 Nights to be locked and loaded for A-list fame, a blonde counterpart to Julianne Moore with a bit more jitter underlying her calm. My favorite performance of mine of hers at the time is White House aide in Wag the Dog, Amoral but Poised, and excuse me, sparking with ideas that might salvage a doomed presidency. And though she would go on to other accomplishments on film, TV, and stage, his story necessarily must include mention of what halted her ascendant career. In 1997, the year of Volcano and Wag the Dog, Hayes began publicly dating Ellen DeGeneres. Both stars' public profiles were altered by the relationship, but the impact was asymmetrical. I know I just said that wrong. I do apologize. But, and I just say this to poke fun at myself. It's par for the course for Pop Talk for me to mispronounce something. But asymmetrical, DeGeneres, for all her well-documented image crisis, is still remembered as a pathmaker for queer people in the entertainment industry and in American life. Hayes was more complicated. Shortly after the pair's 2000 breakup, Hayes' mental health made news when she was briefly hospitalized after showing up at a stranger's home disoriented. This was the sort of scandal for which the public had an infinite appetite at an idle moment. Hayes' eventual interview with Barbara Walters to promote her memoir, Call Me Crazy, aired a week before September 11th, 2001. And what had been an attempt by Hayes to bring people into an understanding of what she went through, alleging childhood sexual abuse and describing her disassociative states, got reshaped into a half-remembered punchline. The things to know about someone who had been so close to being a generational star were that she was Ellen's ex, that she apparently no longer dated women, and that she thought she was an alien named Celestia. Goes on to say there's something sad about that erasure of potential and of humanity, but it also allowed Hayes to become something more interesting. Not everyone is built for the sort of standing down of personality and humanity it takes to become an everything to everyone star. And Hayes, shrewd, resourceful, supporting work in the film Birth, for instance, isn't the sort of thing a major star would do, and yet it's marvelous with the audience perennially sensing that Hayes knows things about her character that she's holding in reserve until the right moment. And Hayes lacked the reserve and restraint that her peers who outran her in the industry had learned. What a remarkable thing. In trying to find a video of her big Barbara Walters interview, I stumbled upon a 2011 The View appearance in which Hayes was promoting Cedar Rapids. Within the first 2 minutes, she's asked about preparing a bikini scene in the film. Starve yourself, she replies. Every girl who asks me, how did you get thin? I didn't eat. What do you mean? She goes on to clarify that she's not intending to promote disorder eating, that she's trying to do in a manner that has the awkwardness and touching sudden clarity of real life, is to convey what it feels like to be her and what it takes to do a job of being a woman in public. Yeah, you're exactly right, Resolution. That's more than I remembered about her. I mean, I remember her being in Volcano, and that was pretty much it. I didn't remember all too much about her film career. So, the article goes on to say that was Hayes' way It could be perceived as a slight against a talented performer to cite their Dancing with the Stars stint, but I found her time on the series in 2020 exhilarating, not for her natural gifts on the floor, but for her eagerness to each time treat the Paso Doble as a potential reinvention. She had a seeming allergy to treating herself as above show, even as some of her fans might have wondered what exactly she was doing there. And recent attempts by Hayes to explain what dating El DeGeneres had been like, not good for Hayes, glimmered with an unmedia trainable candor. Now she leaves us once again chased by dark speculation. It should not be discounted that Hayes' last days carry with them collateral damage. The anonymous person into whose life she collided probably doesn't care that much about Hayes' achievements and setbacks, but it's possible to feel terrible about that end and in considering the work of a person who opted for public life emerged with another set of regrets. Anne Hayes had a talent for letting the world see what was going on with her characters on screen. She was kept from achieving what she might have by an industry that couldn't deal with her sexuality, let alone her inner turmoil. And her seeming desire to understand, to make herself known as a way of knowing herself, was a striking perennial reminder that even as perfection would be simpler, performers are that they must be fallible, that they are with all the mess that comes along with it, human beings. You know, she had a promising career, and unfortunately, the end of her life ended in tragedy. And it's a sad case, really. I mean, here you are. You're blessed with certain talents, whether it's acting, whether you're good at crafting, whether it's woodwork, metalwork, you know, any kind of talent that somebody has, and it just gets lost like this because of demons. That's what it is. It's demons. We all have them. Just it's a sad story, and I'm not gonna mock a tragedy because that's what it is. There's no place for mocking tragedy with something like this, in my opinion. And let me go ahead and stop sharing that screen. If anybody would like to join me this morning, you are more than welcome. Let me just put the link into the chat. But when it comes to Anne Heche, this is just a sad story. Sad end to her life. No other way to say it, really. No other way to say it. I mean, that car crash last Friday, it ended her life and it changed the lives of the woman whose home was destroyed. You can't always know what's going on in somebody's personal life that brings them to the point where something as tragic as this happens. You can't. I'm no expert. I'm no medical expert. I do want to clarify that right now. But unfortunately, it sounded like a case where she was crying out for help and nobody was helping her. I don't know what else to say, really. So let me go ahead and move on to one of the other stories for today. And let's go ahead and talk about Sylvester Stallone trying to get his share of the Rocky franchise. Go ahead and share the screen. And I will also share the article in case anybody wishes to read the article without hearing me read it. And this story, as you can see, also comes from Variety. There you are. So this article, it was posted on Thursday, and it said, "Could Sylvester Stallone get his share of Rocky? Legal experts explain." This is by Wilson Chapman, and it was posted on August 11th. It says Sylvester Stallone is synonymous with the character of Rocky Balboa, the scrappy underdog boxer who first brought him to the spotlight in the 70s. But in recent years, Stallone has made it very clear that even though the films are inextricably, there's another word I can't pronounce, inextricably linked to him, he's not happy about the way the original deal was structured and thinks he should have received an ownership stake. On July 31st, following the announcement of a Rocky spin-off film in development about the characters of Ivan Drago and Victor Drago, Stallone took to Instagram to express his frustrations about the direction of the expanding franchise, and particularly its longtime producer, Irwin Winkler. In a since deleted post, the actor called the 91-year-old producer and his children, Charles and David Winkler, vultures and parasites, who he says are exploiting the franchise. Earlier in July, the actor posted another, also now deleted, Instagram of portrait of producer as a serpent, voicing frustration that he had allegedly been deprived an equity stake in the Rocky franchise. Although Stallone's invective, let me start that over again. Although Stallone's invective against Winkler has heated up in the past month, it's been bubbling for several years. In 2019, a year after the actor reprised his role as Rocky for the second spin-off, Creed 2, he sat down for an interview with Variety's former editor-in-chief, Claudia Eller, in 2019 to disclose his frustrations regarding the ownership situation of the franchise. Stallone, who wrote the screenplay for the film in 3 days before selling the rights to producers Winkler and Robert Chartoff, said his anger came from the fact that the original deal deprived him of any equity stake in the franchise, a long-term asset that could be passed to his children after his death. Goes on to say, "I was very angry. I was furious," Stallone told Variety about the terms of the original Rocky contract. Rocky is on TV around the world more than any other Oscar-winning film, other than Godfather. You have 6 of them, and now you have Creed and Creed 2. I love the system, don't get me wrong. My kids and their kids, they're taken care of because of the system. But there are dark little segues and people that have put it, people that have put it to you. They say the definition of Hollywood is someone who stabs you in the chest. They don't even hide it. Well, it is Hollywood, unfortunately. And I do want to say good morning to Gap After Dark. And Resolute Jern says Sly doesn't want money. He's more pissed about the poor quality of the films. Yeah. Yeah, he should be. I mean, if they're not living up to a certain standard, especially the standard of the original Rocky films, then you need to go back to the drawing board. And Sylvester Stallone probably feels that if he has some say and some stake in the franchise, he can control what happens and what doesn't happen. I know I'm probably pointing out the obvious, but I do that well. And Gap Stargate says, "Good day, everyone. Hello, PACIFIC414. Hello, chat. Hello to you, Gap After Dark. Hope your Sunday's doing well." And please welcome at this time, Anonymous. Good morning, brother.
Good morning. How are you?
Sunday, doing good, doing good. How's your Sunday treating you?
Couldn't sleep in. So I was up early and piddling around. But, that's par for the course when you get old.
I know what you mean. I mean, as a kid, I could sleep until noon. Now, as I'm getting older, it's like, okay, 4 hours. That's all I'm getting. Fine.
Great. Get up, make a pot of coffee, watch some Star Trek, and, do stuff.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, I used to see these old people getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting on the porch drinking coffee and stuff. And I was like, why in the world would you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning? Oh, they had no choice. They couldn't help it.
Yep. And now that we're, older, it's like, I understand now.
Yeah. Hail, Gap After Dark. I see you there, buddy. Resolute Germ.
So the story continues by saying representatives of Stallone and Winkler did not respond to requests for comment on the story. Jason E. Squire, professor of cinematic practice at University of Southern California, called the situation of a major star directly and publicly calling out a prominent producer very, very rare. In terms of how Stallone and other stars get paid for their work on projects, Squire explains that stars usually get paid via cash up front as well as back end residuals dependent on the success of the film. In Stallone's case, although he does not have ownership rights over the film, he continues to make money from the project via back end payments. Big stars are paid in two ways: cash up front, which is part of the budget payable in weekly installments during shooting, Squire said. And then there's the back end known as contingent compensation, which could be in the form of some kind of formula on the success of the movie. The theory being sharing in the success. While Stallone's public dissatisfaction with the ownership situation hasn't spilled over into any legal action, disputes over copyright and ownership over fictional characters are fairly common and almost always go in the direction of the content owner. The comic book realm is particularly rife with legal battles from the estates of creators like Jack Kirby over the characters they created, such as the Fantastic Four and X-Men, ending in courts ruling in Marvel or DC's favor. Jason Samataro, partner of Prior Cashman and co-chair of the firm's media and entertainment group, explains that these cases rest on a provision in copyright acts that Congress developed for cases before the current 1976 Copyright Act due to inequity of bargaining power in deals made before that time. In this provision, after a roughly 35-year period after the original deal, creators can issue termination rights to attempt to reclaim their copyright. The reason why many of these cases go in favor of the current rights holders, according to Samataro, is because it rests on providing that the original work was developed outside of a work for hire situation, or that the project was developed without being commissioned by the rights holder for the express purpose of selling the work. With comic book properties, especially, the cases have found that the works were made for hire, and as such, the courts have sided with the rights holder. When you do something as a work made for hire, your company that you're rendering the service to becomes the owner, Samataro explains. In most of those instances, the facts have lined up that it was a work made for hire, such that the employer or the company provided the tools, heavily edited the project, farmed out the work, essentially was the governing spirit behind the work, and the person was more of a scribe as opposed to the creative source for it. For a case that ended in success for the original writer, Samatero pointed to a 2018 lawsuit regarding Friday the 13th, where the original screenwriter Victor Miller received full ownership over the original screenplay after the court ruled in his favor. As an example of the termination rights succeeding, in that case, the court ruled in Miller's favor by stating that the original screenplay was not made on a work for hire basis, not prepared with in the scope of employment, that he was an independent contractor working on the project. Jody Simon, a lawyer for Fox Rothschild, who specialized in representing comic book creators and independent studios, says in the Rocky situation, the original script probably wouldn't be considered work for hire due to the backstory of Stallone writing the script himself before shopping it to studios. However, he emphasized that doesn't necessarily mean that Stallone has a case. Once he sold the script, it went under the ownership of Winkler, and whether or not he had an ownership claim depends on the specifics of the original deal. In the case of the Drago spinoff, where the character was introduced in the sequel Rocky IV, Stallone's claim over the character is even hazier, as the character was introduced in a sequel after Rocky became an established property. The chances of the court ruling it was a work for hire situation is probably far greater. From reading the articles, I don't think Stallone was threatening to sue. I think he's just complaining and trying to guilt Winkler into changing the economics, Simon said. I infer from the tone of what I've read in the press that he doesn't have an ownership claim. If he had one, he probably would have asserted that. So there we have some of the legal mumbo jumbo regarding Sylvester Stallone wanting a stake back in Rocky. So, Anonymous, what do you think about the story?
Seller's remorse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he everything is a lesson in life. He was young. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't negotiate for a good deal for Rocky, and he wasn't like say George Lucas, who knew what he had to do to get his movie made, but he kept all the rights to his property, and he got all the toy rights, and so it's coming back to bite him in the butt now. And yeah, I know it's crap to see your intellectual property gerrymandered and crapped on by blood-sucking leeches in Hollywood. It's got to suck hard, but I'm sure he didn't. He probably learned that lesson a long time ago, but it's really no use in complaining about it now. You learn lessons in these sort of things, and surely he's learned it. But I mean, I've several times I didn't do my due diligence in like buying something and got burned. Because I didn't know what I was looking for, didn't know what to look for, and ended up losing money, and losing money on a item or an activity that I did that screwed me over. But I learned a lesson. I learned what to look for, what not to look for, what listen to people and what they say, and it's a little late to the game, but what can he do? There's nothing he can do. I mean, legally, I doubt he's got a leg to stand on. He can complain all he wants, but they kind of got him by the balls.
And Resolute Drum says this Drago spinoff is going to be in, let's see, competition with Creed 3. I'm not sure about that. I don't have all the details as to whether it's going to be in competition with Creed 3 or if it's going to be something after Creed 3. But, this is, I'm going to try to say this as articulately as I can. Articulate as I can, not articulately. But it's like if you were to buy a refrigerator and you say, "No, I'm not going to get the extended warranty," and then something happens and you need something replaced on that refrigerator. Well, at least under that warranty, if that part's covered under the warranty, you're not out a lot of money. But if you don't have that warranty and you have to pay for the new part, well, you're out of money.
Yeah, that's how it works. You take the chance. You want to roll the dice, that's fine, and that's cool. And I mean, sometimes the extended warranties are worthless, and sometimes they're not. So, and you're buying buying a car or something, and you don't ask the right question. A used car, especially, you're not asking the right questions. You're not looking in the right spots. What better to look at to make sure everything's functioning correctly. And then you get home and a month down the road, your transmission goes out, or you got to spend $1,000 on the brake system or something. It's lessons learned. You got to know, but. And that goes the same way. It was selling stuff, he wasn't known. It was his first thing, besides the old porno. But he probably didn't know how Hollywood worked that well, and he was struggling. And he, here, buy my thing, and I'll take whatever deal that you give me. And I, didn't read the fine print or didn't understand the fine print. And even if you did read it, a lot of these things takes a couple lawyers and a lot of time to explain what's going on. But it's happened to more people than you can count in Hollywood. So and in other industries also. So people get screwed over all the time. And and he was naive and young and just starting out, so it's par for the course.
It's a hard lesson you have to learn, but hopefully he learned it. And no, unfortunately, he's having regret. And I do want to say good morning to Kathy Skywalker and Captain Fandom Nerd. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's like, I'll give you another example of a warranty. I just recently had one of the coils on my AC unit go out. But luckily, the unit's under warranty, so I won't have to worry about too much out of pocket. Because that part's covered under the warranty.
Yep.
So that's a saving grace.
Warranties are good while you got them, but they don't last forever.
No. Let's see. What should be the next story? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go ahead and talk about Lord of the Rings. I haven't really talked about it too much.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, or just The Rings of Prime. It's just, man, I tend to not talk about this much because I don't know the lore as much as everybody else. All I know is the movies and the old cartoons, and everybody's got more knowledge about it than I do. But you know what they're doing, and it's hard not to. You want to talk about it, but it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't made up my mind if I'm even going to take the time to watch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I might watch a couple episodes just to see if I get me to cringe a little bit. I know it will. And I'll probably bow out like some of the other TV shows. You watch a couple and you just can't take it anymore. That's probably what it's going to be.
Yep. And this article says Lord of the Rings of Power showrunner admits intention of show was to do something different but familiar. Well, okay, they want to do something different but familiar. Then create your own IP. Maybe have some familiar elements, but don't plagiarize the source material. Make it your own.
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings in name only, right? So
Yeah.
They get some names of people and names of places and slap Lord of the Rings on it and pretend like it's Tolkien and they think they're just geniuses in making a masterpiece, and it's just contrived woke bull crap. And no, this is what just warms my heart, is that the fandom of Tolkien is not taking this crap. The vast majority of people who love the Lord of the Rings are hitting them hard, and it overwhelms me with joy. I mean, a lot of people, they won't ratio these videos and these trailers are putting out or teasers or whatever on other things. They'll maybe 50-50, or they'll have more people who like them than not like them. But freaking the Tolkien fans are just hammering the crap out of this junk, and it's glorious. So much so.
And there's nothing wrong with them being so protective over Lord of the Rings. They know the lore inside and out. And if something doesn't match up, they're going to be the first ones to say, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. Christopher
You
Tolkien.
can't do that.
Oh my gosh. He didn't like the Lord of the Rings trilogy Jackson did because of the changes he had to make. And he still made an awesome freaking trilogy. And Christopher just he didn't care for it because he wanted purity, I guess, in his work, and that's fine, and he has every right to demand that. But turning novels into movies is a difficult process, especially with something like Lord of the Rings. And Jackson, I think, did a great job with what he could do, and he knew what he had to do, and not put every Hollywood politic crap into it. And if my point is, if Christopher Tolkien was alive to see this, he would probably create his own YouTube freaking channel.
It probably would, because you look at the work that Peter Jackson did for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and it's a masterpiece in my opinion.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. I mean, just top notch. I could watch it a million times and never get tired of it. I'm gonna watch Two Towers again probably next week. I bought my wife the books for Christmas, and after every book she reads, she wants to watch the movie to compare. So, and we've seen the movie several times, but she just never pays it. She's not one of those kinds. She likes reading books and blah blah blah. So probably next week we'll be watching the Two Towers again. So
That's going to be a good time had by your wife and yourself.
yep.
And as far as this article is concerned, it says the facade surrounding the Lord of the Rings of Powers, didn't fool fans, and they've seen through Prime Video's tactics for, quote, some time. But it now appears the showrunners aren't trying to conjure up a facade anymore after their disastrous appearance at San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't see it. I'll have to look for that video because now I'm curious. During their Hall H appearance at San Diego Comic-Con, showrunners Patrick McKay and J.D. Payne attempted to continue the facade that they were huge Tolkien fans and were deeply inspired by his works. Host Stephen Colbert asked the showrunners, there are characters played by actors who will be out here in just a moment who are not canonical to Tolkien. That must be one of the greatest challenges. How do you fill out that world with characters that are implied? They're implied cultures that you are drawing from, but they are not necessarily described to the depth that you are going to represent them. What guidance did you take to those characters' creation? As part of his answer, Payne said, so one, always back to Tolkien, and two, when Tolkien was silent, we tried to invent as Tolkien a way as possible. Okay, well, where he was silent, maybe you should have just left it alone. Just my opinion. You know, there are certain characters and certain things that are never intended to be expanded upon. You know, they're there to help build the world, but they're never meant to be deeply developed.
And the arrogance of that statement is astounding. We created these as in the most Tolkien way possible, or whatever he said. They are not good enough to even hold or tie freaking Tolkien's shoes. They're mediocre. At best, they have like no credits hardly, and they're talentless, and they think they can create characters like Tolkien could. No, sorry guys, no. You're well, like they say, they're sniffing their own farts. They're high on crack or whatever they want to whatever.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Good morning, Gap. How you doing?
Good morning. I won't be able to mod because I'm on my phone, just to let you know. But I had to jump.
That's cool.
I had to jump in on this Rags of Power. Oh my God. They're, like I had typed earlier, I like everything Anima said about that. And, I like how they craft these articles. You know what I mean? Both pro and con. But, one big thing, they so underestimate the Tolkien fandom. Book, of course, as everyone might know or should know, it's second to the Bible. So you probably have 600 million plus fans of Tolkien's work. You wait till this stuff starts. There's going to be a battle royale against this, and I want everybody to call it out and say facts. Page 36, volume 2 of the Two Tower. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I want people to fight for this. Because Amazon doesn't have all the rights to do everything, but they were smart enough to get rights to screw it up. And then you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, because I am so curious. I'm not a Tolkien scholar, but I can tell when something's not right with those series, and I enjoyed Peter Jackson's movies. Yes, he left a few things there, but you know, when you got so much material, unless you're going to give me 10 movies, I can't cram it all in 3, you know.
There's
But
no way.
yeah, but you know, they were smart enough to buy the rights for it. I'm sorry, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I want to watch it because I've read it enough times to be able to tell what's going on. And when I first saw the pictures, I was like, oh hell no. I mean, you know, what English language are you reading out of that book? Because fair skin doesn't mean anything else other than fair skin.
Yeah.
You know, last time I read that, the definitions of those things, and you know, I'm still laughing. Kathy's still cracking me up about the Anamas's fart stuff. But you know, I kind of want to watch it, but then you'll give them the watch minutes, and you know, I think there should be some kind of entity that releases the a verifiable watch minutes, because you know, I could be a $1 billion company and say, oh well, yeah, I got, you know, 975 billion trillion minutes. Well, prove it.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
Disney recently saying they've got new subscribers, but they're losing subscribers in the US. So that tells you either people in other countries are subscribing or they're, fixing the numbers.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. And then, you know, I've been hearing some rumblings about India, you know, and, you know, them trying to tap into the market over there. And plus, you know, in other countries, Disney Plus shows, you know, other streaming services stuff that you wouldn't normally get to see unless you saw it on the specific streaming service in the US. So I'm not well, since Amazon's global, you know, that won't happen. But I think they fudged the numbers, you know, and I fully expect them to fudge the numbers on this. And you know, just like they tried to get ahead of it before, you know, before anything drops, you know, they're still trying to get ahead of it, but they still have no idea. You have no idea. Tolkien fans are way bigger than any other property that I can think of.
Yeah, bigger than Star Wars fans, bigger than Star Trek fans.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Lord of the Rings is everywhere in every freaking language, almost every language. The fan base is enormous.
And it's across the board age wise,
Yeah.
and generations.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
and you know, you got like I heard before, you've got people who get degrees to become a Tolkien scholar. I mean, you know, and then you have that and the generations and the age ranges, you know, the different mediums that it's been released in. I mean, come on, how stupid are you? But I don't think they're stupid. I think they don't care, and I think they're still in the agenda push. You know,
Agenda
because
overrides everything, right?
yeah, and
So
we can
even the
burn money. Yeah,
scholars will betray and backstab Tolkien for their ideology.
yeah, and the Tolkien estate now, the generation that has it now, they don't give a damn. They're like, you know, I want that cash.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what's his face? The grandson. What a dude!
Yes, yes.
That dude
I
don't
mean, I
care.
mean,
He
it's
wants more.
something I even said recently in a live stream chat, because we've seen it so often anymore. You can't expect the people that are writing for these movies or television franchises to care about these franchises if they never had any love for the franchise to begin with.
Right, but let's go back a little bit further. The people who are hiring them know that.
Hmm.
You know, I can understand giving somebody a shot and everything else, but not with something like this. Something like this, you could, you know, I know Amazon's all about the money, but you can capture everything. You can capture the money, you can capture the fandom, and you can capture the merchandise if you have the right people in place. Why not just capture them all and get all the money? But no, we're still on our agenda kick. And, you know, we're going to have to wait another 2 or 3 years for other IPs. You know, Warner Brothers and Discovery, that I think they're learning, and I think Sony's sort of learning, but Amazon's like, I don't give a damn. And I think Apple is just waiting in the wings for some one of those places to explode, and they're gonna run in and buy something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're gonna run in and buy something, and they're gonna be like, okay, we know we got to stay somewhere in the middle, like a seesaw, and teetering here and there, a little quips and a little yays on the other side of the seesaw. We're gonna try to stay in the middle. I think that's what Apple's doing, but Amazon, they don't give a damn. You know, we're just going to burn this money, just like Jeff Bezos was like The Expanse. I love The Expanse up until season 4, and you know, I'm one of those fans. I really hate to hear actors or actresses or anybody speak about it unless you really love the property, because I won't want to watch you in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Be like, oh hell, we don't want to see, you know, like I can't watch hey Jet Spark. We're not gonna watch Next Gen anymore. It has permeated in my brain. It might take decades. I might be on my deathbed in the old people's home, going, all right, I think before I leave, I'll give Jean-Luc one more shot. And you know, at least I can survive through Lord of the Rings, Power of the Rings. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean.
Jim, this man is dead.
Jim, he's dead. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, Snowflake and Plato playing Sally would be like, oh man, I scored $1 million. Mr. Gap Afterdark, damn it. I missed him by 30 seconds. He's dead. All right, too bad.
And I do want to say good morning to Jet Sparks. And congratulations to your sister on the birth of the new baby.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
You
Uncle
know,
Jet Sparks. Uncle Jet Sparks.
Yeah, Uncle Jet Sparks. But yeah, I mean, I may just have to give it a shot, but I think I might. I told some people wanted me to watch it and give my opinions, but I said I'm not sure yet, because I've got to talk to a few people about how far do they count the minutes in the initial run. You know how like YouTube counts when you upload videos, and you know, in a certain initial amount of time. So what's a sufficient amount of time to let Rings of Power pass by so you don't get counted in that first tier, or you know, and you might get counted in the second half of the tier, but by that time you already have the numbers in, supposedly, where you know exactly, or it's the #1 rated series. You know, do you wait 1 or 2 episodes before you start, so that they don't get that initial bang right away and go, oh, look what we did, we're #1. You know,
I tell you, I don't have to worry about it. Arrgh.
Yeah, our little burnt dwarf with her crowns. Oh, and her mustache. And oh, did I say that? Yeah, I guess I
don't
did.
know. Did you say that? What did you say?
I don't know.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I didn't hear nothing.
Allegedly on Minecraft.
I mean, I've got the perfect clip for that too. I didn't hear anything.
What? I love it. I love it.
Good morning, Glenn Schroeder.
Good morning, Glenn. And and a couple of last things is, I'm sorry, the costumes, and I can't get out of the Don Lemon look. That dude that
Yeah.
looks like Don Lemon. I despise the Communist News Network. I mean, the CN whatever. But it's like, I don't know if I can get that out of my head. And then the costumes. I'm sorry, but you heard of Burlington Coat Factory, right? I mean, I swear they went to Burlington Coat Factory or a thrift store, or in a high school CGI class. I mean, I'm
Well,
sorry. And
bought
why
all
is
the
there?
fabric and costumes off Amazon.
Yeah, and then why is there sunlight? I'm just saying. So
It's terribly cheap, and I don't know where they're spending their money. I
yeah,
mean,
where
50 some $1 an episode. Where is that going? I don't understand.
I mean, even look at this shot. I'm sorry. You're spending, almost $1 billion on this series, and this is the best you got as far as CGI is concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I just focus on that big dot. I mean, the sun that's not supposed to be coming. But yeah, cheap.
Cheap. How much did Lord of the Rings cost to make? Was it like $200 million? I need to look that up.
Yeah, I can't look it up. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, oh my gosh. And when does this premiere? Soon, right?
Next month.
September.
And I'll be honest, if I'm gonna watch something in September, I'd rather watch the 5th season of Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No,
Yeah.
see, God, $93 million for Fellowship of the Ring.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. $93 million.
$93 million, and it made it back and then some.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. Effects, fantastic costumes, and scenes and sets, and most of their crap here is digital and just garbage looking, and $53 million an episode.
Yeah,
this is wrong.
And you could have done like what Jackson did. I think I read that they built some of the sets, further out, so they sort of would age in the elements before they really started filming.
Yeah.
And with that, like you said, Animos, with that kind of money, you could have had old-fashioned sets.
Yeah,
and
totally could have done. And what they're doing is just freaking hobbits and living out of their campers. Screw you, freaking hobo hobbit.
Well, it's a Winnebago camper, damn it.
But still, I don't care if it's a Gulfstream or a Jetstream or whatever those were. Those they all look like hobos. They don't look. Everybody in this that isn't a fake queen looks like they are homeless and from backwoods Arkansas. I'm surprised they still have teeth. To be honest with you, I freaking hate the look of everything they did here.
I said on a stream in a chat, I was like, you know what? I expect by episode 3 or 4 to see some of the elves on a Vespa or something equivalent to a Vespa.
A Vespa horse. It'll just be a horse with
or the Vespa orcs
across.
The Vespa orcs.
It'll be a 2-wheel cart. They'll be riding bicycles.
Yeah, well, it won't be a real wheel. It'll be, when they started off with the square wheels before they went, oh, crap, I think maybe we ought to shave that off. Make it round.
Oh, I hate this. I hate it. We could have had something so freaking awesome, but they just could not.
Yeah, and Amazon, if you ever listen to PACIFIC414, you could make my 4th Stargate series.
No, shut up. I don't want them to make another Stargate series.
Well, yeah, in a way, in a way, my a little birdie, my little sources, which is directly inside the other side of Amazon, the MGM side, I keep on telling the fandom, and they got all pissy with me. It ain't gonna happen right now, and then I'm not sure if you want it to happen right now, because that 25% different, they might turn Dr. Jackson, by or GHAY, yay, or they might have them, gate into the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power on one episode. I mean, you don't know, and it's just crazy, and then just think of how many good shows you could make with all that money. Ugh.
Yeah, is my prediction.
A crossover between Stargate and the Rings of Power. One Stargate to rule them all.
Yeah.
They are the Rings of Power. Now, here's my prediction for Stargate. You remember in episode, was it episode 200, like the 200th episode or whatever, where they were having the Marty come in and like get pitch ideas for a show.
Yeah, they did the Farscape parody, the Star Trek parody.
The one I could see them actually doing. Remember the one where they had like teenagers being SG-1, and they were just sitting around talking about their problems and trying to score and stuff.
Yeah,
I could see that happening. I really could.
Well, MGM didn't learn before, so now that they're with Amazon, I don't think they're going to learn before. And, I'm kind of poo-pooed on right now in the fandom. And I was like, y'all need to take a step back. I've been on the forefront of this push for a very long time. And, not to make me special, but the creator and one of the executive producers since season 4 through all the Stargates, they don't follow everyone, but they follow me and a few other people who've been doing the push. So that should say something, don't poo-poo on us, and don't, they're trying to be real, hopeful about it, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. I said, they're into this fantasy push right now with Rings of Power, and the next thing they're probably going to hit is, James Bond. And, the thing they might do is say, oh, we found some lost commentaries and we're going to release some more DVDs so you can yet buy another box set with a different photograph on it and a couple of extra things on it. And, I don't know. I tried to watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds and my TV blinked out on me. And I think if I turn on Rings of Power on my TV, it's going to blow it up.
Probably. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be a disaster of epic proportions, ladies and gentlemen.
Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to watch this. If I do watch it, I'll watch the first episode and I'll give an honest reaction to it. And if you see my face and you see facial expressions being made, well, then you know. If you don't see my face, you know.
Why don't you do some memes?
Yeah.
I just might.
Yeah, they some shows might take a few episodes to fully, get how cringy it is. Some shows don't, like Strange New World. The very first episode was hot garbage. So it's easy to review the first episode and just know exactly what the rest of the what the rest of the series is going to be like, because it did not come back from the edge of the abyss. But this may take a couple episodes in order to really fully grasp what they're doing and what they've done. So give it 2 or 3 episodes, and then I would come back and give a review on that.
Oh,
it's funny that you should mention 3 episodes. That's usually my limit as to whether or not I'm going to continue reviewing a series.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys, I learned some stuff about you dudes today. Y'all like masochism. Ah, I see.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard. Trust me. It's,
I'm a Cub fan. I'm used to it.
Well, you know what? The meme thing I was going to say with the rings of power, you should do a baseball meme and have some of the elves get hit by the baseballs, but from the Cubs or something, and knock them out and explode. I mean, something like that.
I think that would be fun.
And say, look, even this damn dwarf queen can't even hit it out the park. Couldn't hit it past the pitcher.
my girl Galadriel just can't hit the ball.
Yeah. Oh, look, Galadriel's lover missed the ball at third base. Damn.
Oh, come on. Step into one. Take a hit for the team.
I wouldn't be surprised if she has a lesbian lover because her husband's dead.
Yes, and don't get me how they're skirting that issue. And you could have a picture of Pacific 414 logo as the pitcher, and you could have Amazon at bat, and you could hit them before they could swing. Here's ring number 1.
Oh, oops. I'm sorry. It slipped. It got away.
Scoreboard: Amazon 0, Pacific 414 12.
So what was wrong with your control tonight, Pacific? Nothing was wrong. all the pitches went to the right location. I felt good out there. Good control. My fastball was good. My slider was good. My curveball was good.
And then do a slow motion replay of the speed of the ball before impact.
So, continuing with this article, it says McKay added, "Go back to the book. Go back to the book. Go back to the book." Yeah, go back to the book and actually read what Tolkien wrote, and maybe understand it a little better. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They're only going back to their section of the book, right? They can't pull anything from the other books, so they're ignoring it. They don't care. They're obviously lying. Go back to the book. Shut up. They're stuck in their little sandbox, and they ignore. They're ignoring the rest of the book, even if they can't pull names and events from the rest of the books. They're just using it, the lack of content that they can use as a diversity crutch, or using it as a crutch to throw in all the diversity they want. It's just, they're not adhering to the books, so it's just another bull crap.
Well, I tell you what, real quick, you see my avatar, that's of my cat. That's about how I'm going to be looking at the show.
Eyes wide open.
Eyes wide open. I mean, oh my God. I'm going to bring, his name is Bam Bam. I'm going to bring him and make him sit and watch it with me and see if he goes attacks the TV, because it's funny. Animals are funny. It's like when Stargate came on, they all three jumped up on the TV when the gate opened. I can only imagine what they're going to do when they see the dwarves in the house. They'll be like, what? Wow. Hey, Pop.
It's funny. You're mentioning your cat, and one of my cats growing up used to watch Next Generation and Deep Space Nine with me.
Yeah, I believe they see something that just attracts them. And like I said, with the gate, and when all of a sudden it opened up, their eyes, they're all lit, and they went up to the screen, trying to touch the gate. And I'm like, oh. And then Bam Bam and Baby Girl, they would just sit there, and the other one be like, I could give a crap left about this damn gate. But they sat there and watched it with me, and they must, have known the music when I started it. They come running in, they would lay down with me and watch it. But I'm afraid, they might lose some of their 9 lives watching Rings of Power.
Careful, they might look at you and attack you.
Be like, you get the scrap one.
Make sure they got some knives left before they start watching that.
Yeah. And I do want to say good morning to Pops. Hope your Sunday morning is well.
Hey, Pops.
So the article continues by saying, however, in the same presentation, Payne claimed that Harfoots were not hobbits, something that is found on page 3 of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. If one truly was going back to the book, it wouldn't be too hard to figure that one out. Ooh. See? People keep them sworn.
Burn.
People looking at something going, nah. Step back. See, you messed up.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's good. People who are passionate about, Lord of the Rings or any IP, they should go, no. Throw that flag. We're calling it intentional foul.
Yeah, no. What ticks me off about Colbert is that he's an actual fan of Tolkien, and he knew better. He knows hobbits or Harfoots are hobbits, and he sat there and let one of those douche nuggets lie to him right to his face, and he didn't call him on it. So,
okay, if it were me and I was on a Star Trek panel and somebody said something that wasn't true about an episode of Star Trek, and it doesn't matter which series it was, I'd call them on it.
Yeah, you have to. And don't let them get away with that crap. But no, he sat there and he's like, okay, Harfoots aren't hobbits. Shut up.
Well, that's what I hope a lot of YouTubers that are going to watch this, that are Tolkien big time, diehard, super diehard, rip it to shreds factually, that, and plus that'll make for great viewing, if they call them on all of it, because I'm just that first episode, I'm just expecting it to blow up big time. Kaboom.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of money made on YouTube when this comes out. I guarantee you. I wish I was like big into Tolkien lore and read all the books. But I can't read. But and I could. I'd make a few videos on it myself just to. I'm not going to make any money out of it, obviously, but it's fun. It's fun to tear it apart and just make fun of it, and there's plenty there to destroy. And I may still make a video. I don't know. I mean, why not? I mean, I know enough from watching all these other streams and all these other videos about Tolkien to know what's bullcrap and what ain't, and I'm sure there's going to be enough in these to make fun of, even knowing what I know. So I may go ahead and do one anyway, just for freaking heck of it.
No, we should all check out the first episode together and then have a live stream giving our opinions.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Make notes, boys. Watch it. Write notes down. We can pick it apart.
Well, I'm saying this because I know myself so well. I could have a notepad, and the whole notepad, one page could just say WTF.
Good job there, Mike. Good job there.
Yeah, I know. Real good at taking notes, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you take notes real good, I might forge a ring for you.
Ooh.
Oh my God!
One ring to rule them all on YouTube.
One of those paper rings you make when you're in high school.
Oh, wait a minute, Cap. This is a Cracker Jack box ring.
Well, what else do you expect? I ain't got no budget left after I spent all my money on the show.
I can't rule anybody with this.
Yes, you can. Some of the power of plastic.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, what you just said would make an awesome title and intro for the first review of the episode. And then you can have Anna Moscow.
Heck, we could do it live.
Yeah, or, every time there's a factually incorrect stuff in this episode, fart number one. Fact fart number one.
I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. No matter how it goes, we're gonna have fun.
If I could figure out how to do this, I would film it. I'd get a ring and set it on fire with an explosion of some of the, Amazon stuff in the middle. Oh boy, this is such a dumb. I just set the rings of fire on. I just sent the rings of power on fire. Don't mess with my precious.
Don't mess with my precious. My precious.
Hell, at this point, I think Precious would run and give back the rings. Wouldn't take them.
Yeah, Gollum wouldn't want it anymore.
Nope.
He'd search out Sauron and say, "Hey, here you go. I don't want it. I'm done. I'm out of here."
Hey, or
I wouldn't just want to bite off one finger. He'd want to bite off all 10 fingers.
I'm going to go film my shower curtain and go, here, these are my rings of power. Where the shower curtain clips where the ring.
Good morning, Matt. How you doing, brother? All right, so this article goes on to say Payne and McKay were asked, why is there a Hobbit story in the Second Age? Payne replied, well, it's actually technically not a Hobbit story. It's a Hartfoot story. And so Tolkien doesn't say anything about Hartfoot's not having done anything amazing in the Second Age. He sees it as hobbits before the Third Age didn't do anything impressive. So we felt we had license there to tell a good Hartfoot story. If he doesn't talk about it, it means nothing significant happened.
So were the Harfoots based on Brie Larson's feet? I mean, or is that what he's saying?
All hobbits were based on Brie Larson's feet.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail the.
No, it's fine. It's Sunday. It's relaxing. It's like I say in the description, sit back, relax, and join the conversation. So if anybody wants to join this conversation, you're more than welcome.
I'm worked up about this conversation on the Rings of Power. I call it the Rags of Power.
Wasn't Bilbo's speech in Fellowship of the Ring, didn't he name off a bunch of hobbits?
I think he did.
Wasn't one of them Harfoot?
Sounds
Harfeet.
familiar.
Remember the old fat guy in the very feet?
Mm-hmm.
So if Bilbo knows a Harfoot is a hobbit, why doesn't J.D. Payne know a Harfoot is a hobbit?
Because just like other creatives, they don't care about the lore as much as they say they do. They just want to write their own interpretation.
And then lie to you right to your face where he knows nobody's going to push back on it.
Exactly.
I'd like to get these douche nuggets in front of some actual real Tolkien fans and I won't even say scholars. You just get a really good lore fan and put him up against those guys and they will destroy him.
Get your Lord of the Rings.
Check it out, Pops.
Get your Lord of the Rings douche nuggets at McDonald's. Collect a new douche every week.
Number 3 on the value menu.
Oh, Pops, do I have your permission to show this on the stream? Oh, this is great, Pops. Oh, please tell me I have permission to share this because I want to share this. This is too funny.
Yeah,
It's
do it
too
anyway.
funny.
He sent it to you. It's free game.
Here we go. Let me stop sharing this screen. And since this has been transformed, should be good. I'm going to go ahead and play the audio associated with it as well. So here we go. Courtesy of Pops. Thank you, Pops.
Oh my God, he did what we said.
Whoa!
Oh my God!
Oh, this is great, Pops. That was great.
Nice.
He must have been listening before.
That was great.
Oh my God, I love it. Pops, excellent.
Thank you, brother.
Too bad you didn't hit him in the head.
He said, please share. Run it again.
Oh, I will. One more time. Let me just share the screen again. All right, here we go. One more time.
Whoa! History. And Bryce Harper wants a piece of
Oh, that's great.
Let's go.
See, this is why I like doing Pop Talk. For moments like that.
That was epic. I love it.
Very nice, boys.
All right, I can stop sharing that screen and let's get back to the story. But thank you for that, Pops. Really appreciate it, brother. Oh, yes. See, this is what Pop Talk is about. It's not about talking about, politics. We can do that on our own time. It's about having fun and having our friends create something to share on the stream. And so it goes on to say in this article, McKay also added, it wasn't really important to us from minute one. That's what makes Tolkien's tone unique and special, is the blend of all these cultures and what each of them bring to Middle Earth and what each of them represent. The underdogs and the smallest people being able to do great deeds. We could not imagine a version of the show that didn't have a version of that in some form. And went deep into text to find it. And we think there's a beautiful, wonderful story there that you guys are really going to love. On page 3 of The Lord of the Rings of Power, Tolkien wrote, before the crossing of the mountains, the hobbits had already become divided into 3 somewhat different breeds. Harfoots, Stores, and Followhides. The Harfoots were browner of skin, smaller, and shorter, and they were beardless and bootless. Their hands and feet were neat and nimble, and they preferred highlands and hillsides. He would later write.
Okay.
Or, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You know that from Fraggle Rock? I think we're going to see some Fraggle Rock characters. I'm sorry.
Phenomena.
Muppets, actually, but yeah.
Oh, Muppets, yeah.
It's all Muppets. It's all Muppets.
Still Jim Henson.
Yeah. He would later write, the Harfoots had much to do with dwarves in ancient times and long lived in the foothills of the mountains. They moved westward early and roamed over Arendor as far as Weatherdrop, while the others were still in wilder land. They were the most normal and representative variety of hobbit, and far the most numerous. They were the most inclined to settle in one place and the longest preserved their ancestral habit of living in tunnels and holes, which we saw in the movie, when they interpreted it. With them exposing themselves as liars during their Hall H presentation, McKay and Payne are trying a different tactic. On August 2nd, Entertainment Weekly shared a new interview with Payne and McKay discussing why they introduced original characters and what their goal for the show was from the beginning. First, McKay explained how they came up with the original characters, saying Tolkien would have a line or reference, and from that, a whole character and an arc would spring. He added, that was part of the joy of coming up with the show. We just felt like Tolkien had this massive plot of land that we knew had oil in it somewhere, and every time we hit the ground, a geyser would spring up. This just looks bad.
Yep.
McKay would... Go ahead.
No, I just said, I'm agreeing.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless that what you just last part you just read, spring up like a geyser, and we can take he like you didn't know him, he's dead. You don't know what story arc. We stick to the facts, douchebags. I mean, oh my god. Okay,
it's like saying that one of us knows Star Wars better than George Lucas. No, we don't.
No.
All right. It also goes on to say McKay would also explain the goal he and Payne and Prime Video had for the show from the onset. We felt that this was this great epic that was distinct enough from what had been adapted before, but it had enough connections to be a little familiar. That's kind of been the watchword from day one. To do something different but familiar and hopefully huge, epic, and awesome in its own right, he admitted.
These comments different.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could do something different by creating your own IP, creating your own lore.
Yes, but that a little bit different.
That says it all right there. We wanted to do something different but familiar. So what they wanted was to make their own thing that they thought was better than Tolkien, but keep Tolkien's name and the name of his IP to bring in people. But they did not anticipate what they were doing was going to just infuriate everybody who loves Tolkien because of their sheer effing hubris.
That's true. That's very true. Goes on to say these comments do echo what McKay told Vanity Fair back in February when he detailed the driving question behind the show was, can we come up with the novel Tolkien never wrote and do it as the mega event series that could only happen now?
Bingo.
This too was a lie, as Tolkien wrote the Silmarillion, chronicling the events of not only the Second Age, which the Rings of Power is set, but also the First Age. In fact, Tolkien wrote the Silmarillion before the Lord of the Rings, and the Lord of the Rings is actually inspired by the Silmarillion. In letter 25 to the editor of The Observer, Tolkien wrote, my tale is not consciously based on any other book, save one, and that is unpublished, the Silmarillion, a history of the elves to which frequent allusion is made. In fact, Tolkien actually advocated for both the Silmarillion and the Lord of the Rings to be published simultaneously. He wrote in letter 126 to Milton Waldman, I had in my letter made a strong point that the Silmarillion, etc., and the Lord of the Rings went together as one long saga of the jewels and the rings, and that I was resolved to treat them as one thing. However, they might formally be issued. Tolkien thought of the story as one whole saga, detailing in letter 125 to Stanley Unwin, but the whole saga of the three jewels and the reigns of power has only one natural division into two parts, each of about 600,000 words. The Silmarillion and other legends that the Lord of the Rings, the latter is as indivisible and unified as I could make it. He reiterated this point that both the books are one in letter 133 to Ragnar Unwin, explaining, as for the Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion, they are where they are. The one finished and the end revised, and the other still unfinished or unrevised, and both gathering dust. I've been both off and on, too unwell and too burdened to do much about them, and too downhearted, watching paper shortages and costs mounting against me, but I have rather modified my views. Better something than nothing. Although to me, all are one, and the L of the Reigns would be better far and easiest part as part of the whole. I would gladly consider the publication of any pan of this stuff. So, even quoting the man's own words, these guys, that they just show they don't care. Like we don't care what Tolkien says in the Silmarillion or the Lord of the Rings books. We're going to make our own interpretation. Well, then it's not the property. It's not the Lord of the Rings.
No, he was. Tolkien was very precise about his lore, his mythos. Very precise, and you can't interpret something like that to your own understanding. Trying to think. It's like somebody taking a Picasso and giving it to a 4-year-old child and giving them a box of crayons and telling them to reproduce this. That's basically what they're doing. They're stupid. They're untalented, and they're trying to stand on the shoulders of a giant, and they can't do it. They know they can't do it, and it's going. Their sins will find them out.
Mm-hmm.
We will all know it come the end of the month, and they will know it when they're not making any money. Well, I can't say they're not making any money because Amazon is funding this with Amazon Prime subscriptions that people are getting for other things than just watching TV and movies. So they'll know by the numbers, by the watch hours and all that stuff, but they won't share that. Obviously, they'll keep that hush hush and quiet, and then come out and tell, "Oh, Lord of the Rings is the best TV show, in history," and they won't have any receipts for it. And what are you gonna do?
I'm sorry for laughing, but Pops sent me another one.
Yes, let's see it.
And I'm gonna share it. I'm going to share it, folks. Courtesy of Pops. Thank you, brother. All right, here we go. Are you all ready?
Oh,
no.
my God. Oh my God, Pop's been listening.
Phenomena.
All right, that was great. Thank you, Pops.
Did
That's
somebody
awesome,
was
Pops.
somebody watching Clobbering Times last night?
No, I missed the show last night.
Oh, that's I got to change the name of my channel now because Clobbering Times, Clobby came up with when he read my name on the chat, and he's like, anonymous, do. And I was like, no, don't do that.
No, please, don't butcher my name.
Yeah, now you guys are doing it. Now it's going to be a thing. So my new channel name is Bob.
No. Yeah, from now on, when you come on Pop Talk, I'm gonna go anonymous.
Nope, it's Bob now.
No. Okay, Bob. What exactly do you do here?
What do you do here? I'm the Bob.
I'm trying to entertain people.
Are you a people person? That's what I hear. That's what you tell me.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thanks, Pop. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Pops, thanks. That's my first time somebody did that to me.
If people aren't watching today, they're missing out.
You know they are.
Fun. And if you're lurking, well, come out from the shadows. Come on, speak up.
They probably can't come out from the shadows because they're in a second age where there's no sun to have shadows.
Oh, true. So,
trees.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and talk about another franchise and another creator. And that franchise, of course, is Star Wars. And the story comes from comicbook.com, and it's talking about how George Lucas had to fight Fox execs who wanted to change the film's ending. Of course they did. So here we go. And the story is by Kofi Outlaw. It was posted on the 12th. It says the story of how George Lucas got the first Star Wars movie made continues to be one of the most interesting tales in the entertainment industry. Sure, Star Wars is one of the biggest hit franchises around now, but getting that first film, now called A New Hope, into theaters was truly an against all odds achievement. From George Lucas abandoning the studio system to make Star Wars, to all the problems that happened during production, the film often seemed doomed before it was every birth. I believe they probably meant ever birth, but hey, who am I to criticize?
Yeah.
Today, movie fans are coming back to the story of creating Star Wars A New Hope for a different reason. The ongoing discussion of how studio executives can and often do ruin projects' creative potential with excessive meddling. Vice TV has a series from The Toys That Made Us creator Brian Volk Weiss called Icons on Earth Star Wars. The show is giving a new generation of fans some deeper insight into what all went down with making the Star Wars movies, including talking to people involved we rarely hear from, like Marsha Lucas, George Lucas's ex-wife, who edited A New Hope and seldom does interviews. One gold nugget of the insight that Marsha explained in detail was how executives at 20th Century Fox wanted to change the ending of Star Wars: A New Hope from the iconic finale we now know and love. And Marshall Lucas telling George Lucas went so over budget and had so many difficulties making Star Wars that the only thing execs were willing to commit to was an ending that would have seen the Millennium Falcon in an aerial dogfight with 4 TIE fighters. Stories of executive meddling in Star Wars: A New Hope have definitely been told before, but this is a pretty well detailed to get more insight about. It's hard to know for sure how the executives plan to integrate the sequence, but there's an obvious connective point. And I meant integrate. And like I said, I can't speak. I can never speak. After Han Solo and Luke Skywalker successfully rescue Princess Leia and Obi-Wan Kenobi falls in battle with Darth Vader, the heroic group escapes the Empire. The third act of Star Wars sees Luke take up with the Rebel Alliance and join the mission to destroy the Death Star, resulting in the major climax and hero worship ceremony that is now one of the most iconic parts of A New Hope. From the sound of things, execs wanted to end the movie with the heroes escaping after Kenobi dies and having a space dog fight with some TIE fighters, including Vader's, in order to get away. That's speculation, but it sounds about right. If that had been the case, though, Star Wars would likely not have been the crowd-pleasing hit it is. Certainly not as a standalone movie. The third act, Battle of Yavin, was the finale that made the movie audiences stand up and cheer, as well as cementing Luke Skywalker's hero's journey arc as one of the greatest in movie history. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi would come later and expand the mythology, but Star Wars: A New Hope is still as good as its own movie without the franchise that followed it. Good thing the filmmakers won that fight instead of the suits. I have to agree.
It would have, the original ending to me was a true cliffhanger. Oh my God, I want to see the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been ineffective if they had done the other one because it just left you wanting more. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm at the farm. I join you.
Yes, Pops, I will be joining you this Wednesday on your channel. I appreciate the invite. And Pops and I, we're going to be talking about the old man and a couple other things. Which I'm curious to hear what Pops' overall thoughts on the old man are.
I haven't seen that.
I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, there was one episode I wasn't too crazy about, and you can actually see that review for episode 4. But overall, it wasn't a bad series.
I'll have to check it out.
Part of it, part of me liking the series is because of Jeff Bridges. But aside from that, if you want to see any of my reviews for The Old Man, let me go ahead and put the playlist in the chat for anybody who might be curious. And if you're not, that's cool too, because not everybody likes the same thing. But if you like a good cat and mouse chase, I do still highly recommend The Old Man. Tell you what, go ahead and Put the first video for the old man in the chat for everybody.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges is a great actor.
And John Lithgow is pretty good in it too. So,
Oh, he's in there?
yeah.
Have to check it out.
All right. So let's see. Where should we go next? Oh, let's go ahead and talk about Warner Brothers developing a contingency plan for The Flash.
Shouldn't they have already had one?
Yeah, they should have planned one a long time ago.
Certainly they had somebody sitting around thinking this kind of crap up, and people sitting around backing those people up. But I don't attribute an overabundance of brains to Hollywood and corporate execs, to be honest.
No, I mean, look at the execs of NBC. They kept shifting the original Star Trek series from one time slot to another, from one day to another. No wonder the show couldn't gain a lot of traction.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did that on purpose, and they do that on purpose. Just like this last show, I don't know, last sci-fi show, Debris.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. It was a little clunky, but it started to get real good in the second half of the episodes, and they just blew it out the water. Changing it. And they did that with ABC did that with Wonder Woman, and
Firefly.
changed it. Firefly. A lot of shows, they just want to kill it. They'll change it.
Mm-hmm. And good morning, GMC. Hope you're well. Thank you for the like and the share. Appreciate it. So the story comes from Superhero Hype, and as you can see from the headline, Warner Brothers develops the Flash movie contingency plans. It says on the heels of yesterday's reveal that Ezra Miller showed up for reshoots on The Flash this summer, even after most of their legal troubles resurfaced, Warner Brothers may be in damage control mode. The fact that Miller made themselves available after arrest in Hawaii and other accusations, and prior only to the recent charge of alcohol burglary, indicated that the studio most likely did not care about the actor's reputation. But today, The Hollywood Reporter indicates that they may feel the pressure now and seem to be floating 3 Flash movie contingency plans. And let's see what those plans are, if it even says. The story also reveals that Miller has been traveling with their mother. Excuse me, sorry about that. With their mother recently, which sounds like an interesting wrinkle. Apparently, either Miller's mother or somebody else has indicated Miller may be ready to seek professional help. Per THR, if the help happens, Miller, who goes by they them pronouns, could give an interview at some point explaining their erratic behavior over the past few years. The actor could then do limited press for the Flash, and the movie would open in cinemas as planned. Option 2.
No. Because he is gonna. No, I would not put him out on the interview circuit. I don't care how limited, even if it was 5 seconds. No,
You don't put that out there. No. That would be a gigantic mistake.
And a little too late for them to go, oh my God, my redemption. I was fighting with my he, she, and they and them, and we decided that we needed some help. I really love the Flash.
Yeah, what they'll probably do is lock him away somewhere, in Hollywood terms, and ignore. If they can get him in rehab and like calm him down, they'll put him away and try to bury everything that he's done and whitewash him before the movie comes out.
Yeah,
And-
but don't you think it's a little too late for the rumor stuff? That's hard for the public to put that away.
We're not.
but
I mean, most of us won't buy. Some will. Some are gullible, and some are dumb.
Yeah.
He's changed. He just had a bad patch in life. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But the rest of us are going to be like, this is complete horse crap. He's the same dude he always been, and he's weird, and he's got serious problems. Being in Hollywood, and this is what they do. They're gonna whitewash his entire life and try to bring him back. I don't know why. Most of the time they'll just, the worse it gets, the more they want to defend. I don't understand that.
You do. It's the alphabet soup plus.
That's true. I mean, yeah,
and it's the in the bed media. They let them hijack their movement, so they're gonna protect they from them from we.
Yeah, they can do no wrong. Them can do no wrong. Gotta stand up for them because it's your obligation, their obligation to stand up for it and defend.
But it's amazing how many sheep just see what he's done as oops, I'm in rehab, please forgive me. They
totally look at him as a victim.
Yeah, but what kind of victim takes 12-year-old girl and influence, I'll say it this way, influences and molds their life until age 18, not once but a few times, and you got enough damn money to buy freaking alcohol. Come on, you got enough money to buy your lips, you got enough money to buy lipstick and your fur coat.
It's not about the money, man. It's about the thrill. He's looking for highs, and there's no greater high than doing something wrong, especially for thrill seekers. He could totally buy his own liquor. He didn't have to break in, commit felony to do that. But it was, and as much as a high as that was, it won't be enough. And if he ain't stopped now, eventually the high will be he's going to hurt somebody, because
if
that's
not
the
himself.
ultimate high.
Yeah,
he'll totally shoot somebody or stab somebody.
Yes, those loose guns he hanging around pointing at people.
Yep, and he'll get off on it, and then
allegedly,
then he'll be allegedly. I'm just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Allegedly.
But and he's gonna he'd hurt somebody, and then and that'll be the ultimate high for him, and that'll be the end of his career. And I don't know if it'll be the end of his life. They won't murder. They'll put him in a mental institution because he's got a very long list of very unquestionable actions. So
yeah, and if he's a product of the closed secret society in Hollywood that produced that influencing of shaping people's lives, allegedly, still two wrongs don't make a right, idiot. I mean,
yeah, you may have been a victim at one point. You could have sought help, but turning into what you saw, it doesn't admonish what you're doing.
I would my high off of being the star of The Flash and making my money and making people and entertaining people. That would be my high. Be like, oh, I got to be really super excellent as The Flash and dive into my career, because my high is I get to be The Flash. I get to be in movies. I'm making me some money, and I am entertaining people. That would be an excellent high.
How is fame and fortune not a high? Not something. I mean, that's good enough for most of them.
Yeah.
Besides the cocaine, but what you gonna do? It usually comes with it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I don't know where I saw somewhere one of the Hollywood stars. They work them long hours, and then somebody on the wrong side is like, "Oh, here, take this. It'll help you get through the shoot."
Oh
You
yeah.
know, hey, you got to have a few drinks, looking happy, but then you go to 100 parties, and then you become alcoholic, or hey, you've got to be in this eyes wide shut scenario in Hollywood to get around and get your movies,
Oh, it's a very weird clique they got, and they will groom you into it. I mean, that's just where it comes from, right? This all the way back from the 50s and 60s and stuff. Freaking Studio 54 or whatever it was. I can't remember the name. The weird
Yeah,
crap that
Studio
they
54.
did.
Even back in the 30s, where actors were contracted to one studio, they couldn't work for another studio.
Yeah,
They pretty much
contract
sold
players.
their
Yeah.
soul to that studio.
Yep.
Like, no, you can't work for that studio. You have to do this project. I mean, some of the actresses, like Judy Garland, what they would do to her,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't have a voice.
Yeah. And then at what point, do they expect people to say enough is enough, when they let it go on? Um, and obviously they don't care, because the bottom line is the almighty dollar, but there's a way to get the almighty dollar and win. Everybody wins, because
Mhm.
there are a lot of actors and actresses that don't fall into this crap. There's got to be something in you, where you feel emboldened that you can go and do this kind of stuff. You got to be
Well, they're
exposed to it
protected.
somewhere.
It's the same mentality as politicians when they figured out a way to do what they do without any consequences, and they built the system, they built the framework, and both sides are complicit. They won't do anything to each other unless you go against the grain, unless you rock in the boat of their establishment. Then they come after you, Trump. But otherwise, you can do whatever you want, Hillary Clinton, and not have anything done to you, and then you can brag about it.
I didn't even know who Ezra Miller was before. And, I mean, I don't care about anybody's sexuality or whatever, be who you're going to be. But
Yeah, it's none of my business.
And if you're going to be an actor and actress, I don't care either. Just do what you're supposed to do, which is supposed to be really good actor and actress, and entertain and convey and emote, and do your job, and then shut the hell up. I don't want to know about your politics. I don't know about your other crap. Just do your craft, help animals, help people, and shut up.
Tell the story, and that's it.
Yeah, go do your job and go get your money. Go get your magazine covers and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
But they
do your interviews on late night talk shows, daytime talk shows to promote your movies, and do radio interviews or podcasts. But really, there comes a point where we all look at each other and say, "I don't want to hear about your personal beliefs. Just do your job."
Yeah, the thing is, and then we all know this. We've all said it before, but they are selling a product. They are selling themselves. And when you go out there and deliberately tick 50% of your fan base off, that's not good for business.
No.
Everybody, left and right buy Nikes or buy Reeboks or whatever. They buy Oreos. Why would you want to open your big mouth and alienate half your customer base? That's stupid. And
Yeah.
a lot of these guys haven't got the message, or they don't care. They think they're untouchable, and we're dumb, and we'll go, running to their products and follow them anyway. But that's just not the case.
Yeah, and there's I think in a way you got to be a little narcissist to be in that business.
Oh yeah.
Because why would you keep on, execs all the way down to the actors and actresses, you got to be a little bit of that, because only that type of person would stand on top of the mountain and shove a flagpole for their movie or whatever, and nothing's wrong with it, it's perfect. And instead of the vicious cycle, rewinding and rewinding haven't you learned your damn lesson yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. I've had people comment on episodes of the box score and ask me why I don't include any highlights, or some people who are saying, I bet you wish you could include some of the highlights of the game. I really do. I wish I could, to give people more detail than what I'm saying of what happened in the game. But unfortunately, I can't. Now, granted, I have done shorts where it's showing a little bit of the game, but with the way the shorts are done, it transforms it anyway.
It does. I like your box scores. It's concise, it's informative, it gets the point across. You get what you need. No extraneous. How do you say that word? Extraneous. Blubber. It's just short, sweet, and tight.
And that's why I try to keep it. And I try to, keep doing the box score, because there is an audience for the box score, just like there's an audience for a Pop Talk right now.
Yeah.
I try to cater to those different audiences.
Yeah. And, yours is one of the first channels that I started watching, and a lot of people, and a lot of them referred me to your channel, and I started watching it, and then that made me want to get on there and and talk and be part of it. And I appreciate you letting me be a part of it. But yeah, I like your box scores and I like your Pop Talk. And today we're having a freaking hilarious fun time today. Today was like, oh my God, this is just epic today. And and even talking about lipstick, they and them is interesting in a way, because it just shows how society just keeps on recycling people like that and protecting them. And I mean, no wonder the world is crackling, because you let people, normies or whatever, eventually are going to be converted, because they're going to start seeing that that's okay. Or you have those fringe people with they're not the leader, but they're a follower, and they get influenced to become like that. How many people that are on the fringe edge of normality are going to be influenced by somebody like Ezra Miller? I mean, or are they going to bring them out of the woodwork? Yes, and yes. Are they going to perpetuate this? Are we ever going to know that someone was truly influenced by somebody like Ezra Miller, or some other actors and actresses that got into this, got into a huge ass mess? We're never really going to know, but I damn well bet you somebody got influenced by it, and, and tipped them to the wrong side. And, instead of tipping them to the right side, if you were going to be a good actor and actress, you would project a good, straightforward, middle of the road mentality about how you carry yourself and how you do your craft. I mean, that's just my opinion. But
Yeah.
No, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. If there were consequences for the stupid things that they do,
yes,
there would be less of it. That's just standard common sense knowledge. It's why you get your hand slapped when you're a kid for doing something stupid, putting your hand, playing with a light socket. You
Yeah,
know,
and
mom says don't do that. There's pain involved with
But it's
doing
fun.
that. So,
Come on, Anonymous. You got to try it. It's fun.
yeah,
well, I
hey,
know, Mike, you
Anima,
stuck a fork in there a couple times. I get you.
come on, Anima, stick your finger in an open switch in a light pole in the parking lot. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
just get a little buzz. Just get a little buzz.
Instead of getting your hand slapped, you know, these people are like teaching you how to do it. And
Yeah, and you know, go ahead.
And they're not only you know, encouraging this kind of behavior with not any repercussions, they're encouraging it with people who see there's no repercussions. So you know, there's they won't think twice about doing it themselves. You know, so you just encourage it, and it brings more people to the crazy yard. And then what do you got left? You got a Hollywood that's in complete shambles, in disarray. It's fallen down. It's about to, you know, jump into the dustbin of history, and it's their own stinking fault.
Yeah, it's like, you know, Cash. He keeps egging me on. Come on, Mike. Put your finger in that power socket. Come on, Mike. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Here's a fork. Here's a fork. Do it.
How you doing, Cash?
This is not an infomercial for G.I. Joe. I'm sorry, Mike.
Hey, Cash.
Hey, what's going on?
But you know, I really think that the curtain that it's always been there in Hollywood, that I can't really pinpoint one event or situation that drew the curtain back. It's kinda, but it's that permeate, and they know they got this power, so it permeates through every level of society through Hollywood, you know, because culture's part of it. And film and movies influence people, and actors and actresses do the same. So, you know, so I kind of think they get off on it too. And besides knowing about it, and they get off on it, you know, why don't you get off on being more good and doing good, and, you know, accurately telling a property or accurately telling a story. You know, just entertain us. We don't give a crap about all your other crap. Damn it.
And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome.
Welcome.
Yes, please welcome Phil McCracken.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love the entrance music. That would be particularly for me. I love classical.
We even have music.
Even have entrance music. I have to keep Cash Money in line. That's what
You can try, you'll fail though.
That's all. It's okay. It's okay.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, everyone.
Phil McCracken.
I hope you're having a good Sunday morning.
Hello.
I
am.
Yeah, we are. How are you?
I am.
Hello, Bob.
I'm from the Indian consulate. You are now banned from India, Mr. Phil Kraken.
I'm already banned from India. I love beef. There's no way in my life that a cow is 3 times bigger than normal and you can't eat it because you believe it's your part of your religion. That's fine. But me, I see that cow, I'm eating it. And if
Sally,
it's Uncle George, so be it. Uncle George, you know, you're going to be my prime rib. You're going to be my New York strip steak. You know, just the way the cookie crumbles. So.
He just goes to India and said, "You see that cow? I'm eating that tonight." Yeah.
There you go.
Well, during the 4th of July, he was going against the Brits. So,
well, that was the whole point of the 4th of July. We kicked
it was.
We had
it was.
You know, it's not a bad thing to every once in a while you have to kick someone out. You know.
I have a new show idea for you, Phil. Grumpy Thoughts with Phil McCracken.
I am a grumpy person. I am a grumpy person.
Hey,
when
those little
they tell
kids
you,
come over, he's get off my lawn.
You're damn right.
Give me a
popsicle.
popsicle. Give me a popsicle.
You're killing my grass. Get on the sidewalk. That's why the sidewalk's there. I pay taxes for that sidewalk so you can walk on it. I didn't pay for grass for you to walk on it.
I could see Phil in a grocery store. Hey, lady, can you hurry up and freaking scan that shit quicker so I can get out of here?
No, I refuse to go to the self checkout. Part of my
No, the
pricing-
checkout person. You be like, look,
Oh,
cashier,
yeah.
could you hurry up and scan this shit so I can leave?
You know,
goes-
where I'm at, they try to be slick now. They don't want to bag their own bags because in my state they stopped plastic bags and going back to paper.
Oh,
Or
they
you
did?
buy the grocery bag that's reusable. But when you give them the bags that's reusable, they look at you like, "Oh, you're going to bag?" I said, "No, this is not something like a Save-A-Lot. This is a big store. Part of my pricing of you buying your food and your product is in that cost for you to bag it. So I make sure they bag it."
So wait, you don't go up to the cashier and be like, "Hey, have you ever watched Caddyshack 2?"
No.
Oh,
I know some of my cashiers I know because I go to the same grocery store. I said that Star Trek 5 rocked, didn't it? Yeah. God does anything he wants with the starship.
Yeah.
Bill McCracken sees a GoBot on the ground. He doesn't just step on it; he stomps on it.
You crazy. I kick it down the street and let the poor kids play with it.
Hey,
If it's playing with missing an arm and missing the leg, hey, it's GoBots.
hey, Phil, I heard that you have an Ezra Miller doll and he's really your favorite actor.
Yeah. Never.
That you play with the Flash every day.
No, never. Ezra Miller, no. How does that guy still have a job? People have done far less than him and got punished 10 times more, and he still, as of today, has a job at Warner Brothers.
Because you kept giving him money, Phil, and we told you to stop, but you just kept doing it.
I didn't support none of his movies. I don't think he's a good actor. I don't think he's
I'll
a good
agree with you
person.
there. Yeah.
You know,
He
regardless of
was
whatever
terrible in the second
and
Fantastic
regardless
Beasts.
of whatever he thinks he is or what's he want to be, that's neither here nor there. But when you start assaulting people, I would be still as beef if he assaulted a man as much as he assaulted, 3 women as of now. One lady and her kids are missing. We don't know where they're at or where he hit them at. Yeah. If it was somebody else, they would have been fired and we would have hung them on the tree. I'm sorry to use that analogy, but that's the truth. Look at your Hollywood people that did stuff wrong. We know they did wrong, and we did that. We hanged them, pretty much.
You know what they should do, Phil? They should do what they did in Cannibal the Musical, man. You ever watch that?
Cannibal the Musical. My God.
Oh, my God.
I think they should take them down into one of the rivers in South America where they have piranhas. And just throw them in. If they survive, then it's all good. But if they get eaten, so be it. It's nature. What can I say?
If you get out, we'll renew your contract.
So
Warner
the
Brothers.
choice is that he either goes to jail or he gets eaten by piranhas, basically, or something.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, is that the choice you would give him, Phil?
Look, anything I can come up with is crazy.
Salem witches, if they float, they're not a witch.
There you go.
Look. Are we gonna have a Blair Witch Project situation where
my
you're saying with the
answers are
shaky
crazy,
cam and the?
and I acknowledge I acknowledge the craziness. But here's the thing: what's even crazier, that he
Bill
still has
McCracken.
a job at Warner Brothers. Can you explain how crazy is that?
I think Zaslav is gonna actually drop him. Finally, I would be surprised if they don't. But
they don't need to trash the movie. Cut his parts out. Edit in a new person. Keep the movie going.
Let's find out what option number 2.
That's a new movie.
Well, if we did the Salem witches thing, Ezra probably would sink to the bottom, but his lipstick and wig would float to the top. So would he consider being a witch or not?
I don't know. He should. Hasn't he already hung around with Amber Heard? So those two can have each other.
Well, poop does float to the top, right?
Always.
Sometimes.
Always.
Depends on what you ate.
That's true.
Never
That's true. And now we're talking about turds. Great. Yeah.
Well, we're still on the Ezra subject, about how much Phil really loves Ezra.
True. And we were talking about Lord of the Rings earlier, which Cash, you and Phil you and Phil missed it, so I'm going to show it.
Show them both.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
You guys are going to love it.
Okay.
So we were talking about Amazon's Lord of the Rings and the Rings of Power and what the creators were, running their mouths about, and
It's yeah.
of course, no surprise to anyone. I bring up baseball. I mean, it is a part of me. Sorry.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. How about your Dodgers? 12 in a row.
Yes.
So, I was saying how I might end up watching the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, and
Is that
I'd
supposed to
start
be
talking.
Javi Baez is Amazon? That's
And-
Javi
and
Baez, right? Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it's not. But
Oh,
I started talking about how
Come on.
I
Yeah, go
I
on.
would watch it, and at some point, we got into talking about baseball. Thanks to me. I'm the guilty party.
I'm
Yeah,
shocked.
he did it.
Yeah.
But started talking about how I'd be throwing baseballs at Amazon's Lord of the Rings. So, anyways, this is what Pops made. One of two things he made.
Whoa! History. And Bryce Harper wants a piece of Hunter Strickland. Here they go. Strickland lands a punch. Harper lands a punch. Bench is empty.
There's
So-
something I want to state.
So
If you see at the
Amazon's
very
beating you up.
If
Okay.
you see at the very beginning,
I threw at Amazon. Amazon's charging the pound. And
but if you look at the very beginning, you see the head umpire. He doesn't run straight out and break them up. He walks and lets them fight. As opposed to most of the modern umpires you see more younger, they try to get in there and break it up. I'm always in the philosophy when it comes to sports and being heated, sometimes you got to let them blow off their steam. So I go with the old school. Let them fight it out, then you slowly break it up. But I'll be telling you this. I played Little League Baseball. I played baseball in high school. And somebody beamed me like he did. Oh, you damn right. I wouldn't even point the baseball bat. By the time I got beamed, my bat's on the ground, my helmet's off, and I'm charging him out, and I'm tackling him. I'm sorry.
Did you think about Elvis when you were trying to hit the ball in Little League? Phil?
Elvis, definitely. What would Elvis do? You know what Elvis would do? Would say, thank you very much, after he beat his butt. That's how it works, man. Old school. Clean McCracken there could tell you.
That's right.
And then while we were still talking about Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, we got into Mana. And Pops made this one too.
Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
That's why I'm no longer anonymous anymore.
Yeah. No, you're clean McCracken. And can I add, I didn't know you were very, able to keep a dance step. You surprised me.
It surprised me too, Phil.
Many things you don't know about me, Phil.
Yeah,
Many
I'm
things.
learning. Just don't pull an Ezra Miller on me when everything will be fine.
I can cut a rug. I can cook.
Even with his Harfoots, he can cut
That's
a rug.
with my big giant feet. I can cut a rug. So you think Brie Larson's got big giant man feet? You ain't seen mine.
Brie Larson.
I'm sorry, and this might sound mean. I just don't see what anybody sees as far as looks that Brie Larson has. She's not pretty to me.
I don't know. Her personality makes her ugly to me.
I was gonna say her personality, gets me the wrong way.
She
She
hasn't actually said anything in a while,
Her
so which
butt.
has been good. But I do always see her on those Nissan commercials because she has a contract with them. Yeah. Can't escape Brie Larson in the United States.
Unfortunately, no. We're punished.
She hasn't opened up her mouth about many things lately, or at least I haven't really paid attention to it if she did.
She's
Well,
working
wait
on a movie,
until
man.
they release the Marvels, then she'll be on every media platform there is.
Yeah. IGN will probably be foaming at the mouth, and GameSpot, whatever. I'm sure.
So, continuing on with this article, it says option 2: if Miller does not cooperate, release the movie anyway, ignore the actor as much as possible, and recast the role going forward. Most of us have assumed this was the most likely scenario. So, to catch you guys up since you just joined, they were talking about option 1 and then option 2. And then, of course, it says, then there's the nuclear option. Why didn't you just nuke it? Come on, nuke it.
They've
Things
got
go
until-
from.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
They got to Warner Brothers got until August 18th to schlep off the Flash onto AT&T's debt like they did Batgirl. So they could do that, but I doubt it.
Well, they could have just released Batgirl and dumped it on HBO Max, but whatever. It was finished. I'm sure people were curious to see what kind of movie it turned out to be.
Oh yeah, a lot of people want to know. They want to know how bad it really was, and I don't blame them. Really, I mean, it's nice to see it just get crap canned to the four winds, but you have to wonder. It's like Schrodinger's cat. You know, it's how bad is it? You know.
I don't know. Yeah, it might have been somewhat decent. Who knows? But it's whatever.
It could have developed a cult following for all we know.
Yep.
The odds are slim, but it's a possibility. Small, but. And you know, YouTubers, you know, they kind of want to make some content out of it. So that's an opportunity missed.
And Gap, I want to thank you for hopping on this morning. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
No, if you guys, I'd like to plug the new Phil McCracken as Ezra Miller 12-inch action figure with optional purse and lipstick. And then I just have
it's unisex too.
Good luck trying to get me
unisex
in
outfit,
gold makeup, eyeliner, or anything like that. Unless I'm trying to go on Halloween, I'm taking kids out and I'm dressing up like a member of Kiss.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Wait, no, wait, hold on a minute, Phil. Stay away from the kids, okay? You know what happened last time. Just stay away.
Thou dost protest too much. I just have Gap Afterdark channel, and I just do shorts, and that's it. And thank you, Phil, Mike, for having me on. I really appreciate it. I enjoy being on here. You guys are hilarious.
No problem. You're always welcome.
All right. Well, y'all have a good day.
See you, buddy.
Good talking to you,
You
Gap.
too.
Have a good one, man.
McCracken.
All right. All right.
Just
Later.
like you got Clean McCracken, Cash McCracken, Bill McCracken. It's gonna trend worldwide.
Phil, the answer is, you know what? We need a clip. We need a clip, Mike.
Yep. I've got the perfect one. It's the one I love to play. Hey, Phil.
How about new?
It's okay. Because
How about
always
new?
turns into a yes.
No,
It's a cycle, like the cycle of life.
Phil, it's like it's like some of your movie choices. It's just
Don't you
it's
talk
not gonna
bad about
happen.
Caddyshack too. You can't.
Caddyshack.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Brick
can't
killed
say
the
much
guy.
bad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You're living Caddyshack too.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, yes.
No.
Caddyshack 2 doesn't have a good script, Phil. But you know,
California
what? Like
doesn't have a good script right now.
Never said it did.
I'm just saying.
But that doesn't. What does that have to do with anything?
It's a living Caddyshack 2.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think you're stretching that one, Phil.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay.
You know what happened happens when I watch Caddyshack 2?
Emotional damage.
Seems about right.
I like Caddyshack too.
It just
Star
wasn't
Trek
that
5.
interesting. It doesn't have Rodney Dangerfield in it. It doesn't have Ted Knight in it.
It's got Jackie Mason. Oh, come on.
Tell him, Clean McClarkin.
Come on.
Why
I'm
you
gonna-
Debbie-
that's
why
it.
are you
I'm
always
going to
in
be on
Debbie
Phil's
Downer?
side this entire stream. I'm going to be right there with him. Caddyshack 2 was fantastic, man.
Star Trek 5 was awesome. Just,
Dan
you know,
Aykroyd. Yeah, God needs what? God needed a starship. Don't deny it.
there you go.
My gosh, the
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship?
Whatever
Nothing.
he wants.
God doesn't
Whatever
need
he
a
wants.
starship.
he doesn't need a starship. That's the thing. William
Let us
Shatner.
carry his word
doesn't
out
need
into the
it.
stars.
The
He doesn't
correct
need
answer
it.
is whatever God wants.
Why
You
would
know-
God ever need a starship anyways?
Does he need to Escalade? But you know what? We can watch that cartoon every day and see God riding around in Escalade.
You know, maybe he just wants a play toy in the bathtub.
There
Who
you
cares?
go.
Hello, Cobra Disney Jedi. How you doing, brother? Phil. I don't want to know what you do with your starship in the bathroom.
Yeah,
It floats.
You gotta keep that to yourself.
It
man.
floats.
Yeah, we don't want to hear about.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That's all I'm saying. It floats.
I don't want to hear about you singing Rubber Ducky either, man.
Rubber ducky.
Or row your boat.
Yeah.
What's wrong with row your boat? It's an all-time classic. Anybody that's been in Boy Scouts, you learned that song.
You don't have to be in Boy Scouts to learn that song. You could be in preschool and learn that song.
I don't know. Cash Money hates row your boat.
Yeah, because he watched Star Trek 5 and he realized how bad it was.
That was an awesome movie.
Star Trek 5 is pretty awful.
Nothing beats Star Trek Nemesis.
Ah,
Nothing.
No.
When it comes
Star
to
Trek
horror,
5
it's
is
the worst.
worse.
Hey, Cash, I'm sorry. It's the worst selling Star Trek movie ever made. Worse than even Star Trek.
Oh,
5.
it didn't do well at the box office, but I'm still
And
not going
it
to
sucked.
say that Nemesis
But
is worse than
it
5.
didn't
But
even
that's
have
not saying
competition.
that.
It didn't even have competition, and it still blew. But guess what? Star Trek.
Tell-
what do you mean? It
Tell me-
lost for Jennifer
wait a
Lopez
second.
movie.
So tell me this,
This
Phil.
lost to a
Do you have
Jennifer
nightmares?
Lopez movie.
There
Do you
you
have
go.
nightmares about this?
But
Thinking
you know what
about
I'd say?
Nemesis?
Anytime you get the character of William Riker and he shaves his beard, you know it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And that's all I have to say about that. Riker needs to keep his beard.
Are we
Whatever
on
the-
Riker's beard again?
Yes,
Yes.
we're on the subject of Riker's beard again.
It just
Riker needed a beard. He's a beard dude. I mean, come on.
He doesn't look right without it.
I like clean.
I mean, admit it. When you see Cisco with the mustache and the shaved head, he's awesome looking.
Because he's the Cisco.
It's
Yes.
a goatee, not his mustache.
Oh, but when
a
he
goatee,
has
man,
his
exactly.
hair and he's clean shaven, he doesn't look right. He doesn't look right. That's all I'm saying.
All right. And
Thing.
all right. And I'm gonna finish up this article here. It says there's the nuclear option. That's right, DEFCON 1. Hit the button. Push the button.
Destroy it.
Things go from bad to worse. With the situation with Miller deteriorating, this would be Warner's killing the movie outright as it could not be reshot with a different actor. Miller plays multiple characters and is in almost every scene. Unlike with Batgirl, the window to scrap the movie as a tax write-off casualty of the WB Discovery merger has likely passed. The company would probably have to hope for an insurance payout in the drastic scenario. In reality, Warner Brothers is likely using the press to play hardball in negotiations with Miller. The actor stands to lose plenty if their biggest starring role to date gets canceled completely, indicating for the first time that that's a real possibility. Sounds like a tactic to force Miller into a deal. What do you think about the best Flash movie contingency plan? Nuke it, as I've been saying. Press the button. Nuke it. Oh, we just lost Anonymous.
I would have to agree. They should have done this a while ago. I don't even know why we're at this point. This point where we're at should have been 5, 6, maybe even a year ago with Ezra Miller. I don't know why they're saying like it's a big deal now. It should have been dealt with then. We talked about it last week. We talked
Hollywood
about
doesn't move fast.
What did we say last week? If he has to have something on people in order to not to be touched the way he is not to be touched. There has to be something there. Because if it had been anybody else, let's just say hypothetically we switch it, and this is Johnny Depp, they wouldn't have waited a half a day before they would have said, Depp's gone. Why can't they do the same with Ezra Miller? I would love to know the reasoning behind it.
Double standards. There's always double standards.
Yeah, it's double standards, but.
And let's be clear. There has been many times a major production has been canceled. Even before the stage, after post-production, it's been canceled. I think the best thing they can do is either if they can't edit in new scenes with a new actor, then nuke it, be done with it, and start over. Nobody here is ever going to think, I don't know where they're getting the idea of, that Ezra Miller doing even The Flash was supposed to be a big deal. Even as a Flash, as a subpar super friend, whatever you want to call it, even in Snyder Cut, he wasn't that big of an actor or a big deal. You could have dealt with him as Flash, or you can dealt with somebody off the street playing Flash. He didn't do anything magical.
No.
I'll give it to the dude playing Aquaman. Yes, he did some good stuff. I'll give it to Ben Affleck for Batman. He did good. Not saying he did great. He wasn't what's his name from Dark Knight, but he was good.
I don't know, that Aquaman movie, it was pretty good, but I just don't really remember it. It wasn't. I know it made a lot of money, but those explosions that happened in that movie just took me out of the film. It was weird. They just
and if you notice,
up.
they recycled, and they're doing it now back and forth, recycling actors from the MCU into the DC and vice versa. But here's the thing. To me, and I'll say this again, besides Batman, most, and maybe Wonder Woman, all the other DC characters need to be rebooted. And what I mean by rebooted, out of the 1950 era and get them modernized, because they're not modernized, where the MCU's characters are modernized. You could see like the X-Men in today's world. You can't see, I don't see the Flash as the way he's being portrayed, and even the look as today. It still looks 1950 to me. Arrow still looks 1950. They need not just like a character reboot, but they need a outfit reboot besides Batman. Superman desperately needs a reboot with the look. I mean, the Christopher Reeve's Batman was fine because it's still, you're only 20 years away from the 50s.
Christopher Reeve was Superman.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Superman. But even his look, even in the 70s, even though you're 20 years away from the 50s, Superman, it still looks outdated. In today's world, Superman can't go into a telephone booth because we don't have telephone booths no more.
Well, what about, was that movie actually going to come out? That Black Adam film? I don't really know much at all about Black Adam. So are people actually excited about this?
I will tell you this. The Black Adam, I saw the first one. Great movie. For DC, that's probably, to me, one of the best DC movies since what's his name, Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Uh-huh.
I would recommend that. I liked it. I liked
Yeah.
Black Adam. So
Okay.
I didn't see anything woke in it. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Everything was fine for me. It seemed perfect.
So
and
Black
it was
Adam is out, or is this another movie of Black Adam? I don't. The one with
the
Dwayne
way
the
I
Rock
was taught
Johnson
that
has
this
been.
was going to be
Uh,
something was supposed to be Black Adam meets Shazam, but then that got scrapped. I don't know what happened there.
So, but Black Adam hasn't come out yet.
Oh no, it's not coming out till next year.
Yeah.
No,
next
you
year,
misunderstood
yeah.
what I was saying. I might have confused you. The
Yes.
original plan for Black Adam was he was supposed to do a movie with Shazam, and they were supposed to
Okay.
do a movie together that would have brought Shazam. That would have been Shazam 2, whatever was supposed to be coming out. I don't know who the new crossover guy is, but that was supposed to open the door for Black Adam.
Okay.
But now, since they didn't do the movie together, Black Adam is doing, I think it's a solo movie. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a solo movie.
Yep.
Yes.
I think it would have been better if they would have put him into the second movie and did it as introduction for him in Shazam.
Shazam 2.
And I
Yeah,
got 'em mixed up when I
unfortunately,
said that.
DC doesn't do it that way. They should have, had solo movies for all the Justice League first before having a Justice League movie, and they didn't do it.
Well, what is
They,
it's
to me,
gonna
they
be?
missed a lot of the good Justice League characters. You didn't get a solo. I would have preferred Green Arrow being there. There was no Green Arrow.
Mhm.
I like Aquaman. With how they did Aquaman. I like the first Wonder Woman. Not crazy about the second one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as far as like Flash and Cyborg, I know a lot of people are big on Cyborg, but a Cyborg solo
he's
movie would never
kinda.
cut it.
I don't know. He's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
guess.
if it was like a
Not a bad
Cyborg
character, I don't
Flash,
think, but yeah.
a Cyborg Flash movie together, I could have bought. But both of them separate, nah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Discovery is going to want to do with DC, but Zaslav seems to want to make money. But so hopefully they'll find another kind of direction. I don't know. Well,
but I think if they do something new, which I'll be all for, they have to modernize their whole look, feel, and action. Like I said, most of DC is stuck in the looks of the 1950s. And they haven't got out of that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Just my opinion. Somebody in today's world that they were born in the 2000s, what do they care about something from 50, 60 years ago? They don't have no relation to that, even costume-wise.
No.
Yeah. Look at Batman. You don't have the 19 TV show Batmobile. You have a modern Batmobile. The look of Batman is even a little bit different, than what you saw in the earlier cartoons, the comic books, and the TV show.
Yeah, but I would definitely still recommend even the 60s show for people to watch because it's still quite enjoyable, even if it's considered out of date, obviously. Just like the Batman the animated series.
I'm going by visual appearance, if that makes sense, the visual appearance, I mean, a visual does play a lot of part. It's just as much as your writing does. If you don't have a good visual feel,
Right.
I mean, Flash hasn't got a new suit. His suit still looks like it came from 1950. It ain't that hard to make it look a little more modern and cool looking.
Yeah. True.
I mean, they did change the X-Men look. They're not all wearing yellow and black and blue when they do the X-Men. Modern X-Men, they change the color of it.
Yes.
Give it a more modern look. So some newer people can relate. Like I said, Batman is the only thing in the DC universe that got any type of modern looks. All the rest, you're looking at Superman, you're stuck looking at the dude's wearing his underwear outside of spandex. Okay. Can we get a little change there? It doesn't hurt.
Well, they did change it a little bit for the Henry Cavill Superman.
They did. And I will admit the black or the dark purple uniform, whatever you want to call it, that does look good. That does look good.
Yes.
So on him, Superman as a character, that's something they can work on. Wonder Woman, she's starting to get a little bit of improvement. Aquaman, he's not doing the orange and the black.
No.
So at least they got him modernized. But the Flash, he ain't changed. And forget Ezra Miller, any Flash. And let me say this, even if they would come out with this movie, to me, having a Flash TV show and now you're having a movie and it's not the same, aren't you getting a little bit too much Flash?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't like the idea of having.
Possibly.
I mean, think of it. Flash is not something that you really. If the Green Lantern flopped, and I like the Green Lantern, I love the guy who played it, even though he does better in Deadpool. But I love even the way he looked in it. He was modern looking. He look-wise is great.
I love watching the Green Lantern because when I went to the movie theater where I live, I was the only one in the auditorium.
That movie was.
I just think nobody in modern, if you're looking at a kid 15, 16 years old, you mention Wolverine, you mention the Incredible Hulk, he's going to know it. Besides the
Captain
Batman,
America.
If you mention Batman, he's going to know it. But as far as like Green Lantern, I can't say how many kids say, "Oh, I would love to be Green Lantern." Being an
Unless they're familiar with the animated series that Warner Brothers decided, we're canceling it. And from what I heard from a lot of people, it was good. But, that's these studios do. They'll cancel things that people are enjoying just because they don't see that it's making a profit.
Right.
And Anonymous says, internet took a dump. Sorry, guys. Well, Phil, is there...
It's okay. You see, the internet couldn't handle two McCrackens at the same time. Cash will tell you that. Doesn't work. It's too much. It's too much. If all four change to McCracken on this live stream right now, the internet will blow up. World War III, apocalypse, it's all over.
I will not be part of this twisted nonsense.
You know what Phil's saying, everybody?
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here, I'm the man.
What's causing all this?
Phil.
Horseman, baby. Horseman.
Yeah. Horseman, I'll give you something else. And I'll raise you. Your little horseman group, Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson.
Tully. Don't forget Tully.
I'm not forgetting Tully, although I don't think Tully needs to be anywhere in a wrestling ring.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
For life.
It's okay. The man that's forever banned, but he was a horseman at one time. War Games, he pretty much single-handedly destroyed the NWO. Give it to him. I know we can't say his name anymore, but he was an awesome horseman.
The wrestler who should not be spoken of because of the thing that he did.
Yeah. But that one War Games, it was one of the last War Games between the Horsemen and NWO. That man was when they had war. I used to love that. They need to bring that back to wrestling. War Games.
They did in NXT.
Yeah,
they brought it back.
William Regal was a smart man for bringing that back. But his if you ever see, I think it's the 1999 or the 1998 one, where it's the Horsemen against the NWO. Mr. C practically went in there and was 3-1 for like the last good 10 minutes of the match. And he pretty much he lived up to the name Wolverine. That's all I can say.
Yes, the man that we will not speak of.
No, like I said, we'll never say his name because, yeah. And that's still a mystery, everything that went on that day. So, but don't mean to take you away from Mr. Edgar Miller, you know.
Oh, no, this isn't about Ezra Miller. It is WB related, but it's not Ezra Miller. This article is basically saying what their games division has to do to meet with the new criteria of WB's digital department. So it says Warner Brothers Discovery's second quarter earnings call last week was one of the more significant events of the overall earnings. But I'm not subscribing. But if you want to subscribe, you can. But anyways, they're probably saying, you got to do this, you got to do that. But anyways, moving on.
Warner Brothers, I just want to say, bars a game. I am looking forward to, what's it called? Gotham Knights. I'm just praying. I'm praying that we get what we should be getting, not the SJW of it. But one thing I can tell you that's crazy up front. They have a pre-order plan where you got to spend $500 to get a special motorcycle and gear for your characters.
Of course.
I'm not paying no $500.
And I have the perfect clip for that. I know we've already used it, but
How about new?
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the Cowabunga collection has a set that's $150. So I'm thinking, yeah, you get all these nice little collectible extras, but really all I want are the games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I just want people to know that Phil McCracken has gotten a hold of Geo the Rock special edition 100 limited numbered black Geo figures.
Don't believe him, folks. Don't believe him. Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Handpicked and washed by Phil McCracken.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you already know right there it's a scam.
Glittered black.
Uh-huh.
Not every Geo action figure, none look the same.
I feel I hear Phil likes to paint Elvis figures down in his basement.
Look,
it's a rumor that's going
I
on.
hear it like handing them out to little ladies.
1 million marching, yes. But Elvis never died. He just went home. Just went home.
Keep believing that, Phil. Keep believing that.
Whatever you want to believe, Phil. Whatever
so it's article from CBR.com, which if anybody hasn't been to their site, they have changed a few things. There is no more comment section.
They're not pandering anymore.
There's no comment section, so you can't really, voice your opinion on something.
Oh, of course. Why not? Why would they? They took that away. Yeah, it's good times.
So this article says, what happened to the Killzone series? I don't know. I played the one on PS4. It was okay, but
the Shadowfall one, people are like, dude, those are the most amazing graphics ever, man. They're the best. And it's like, but the gameplay itself gets very repetitive after about midway through the game. It's I don't want to play that game again. Sure, it looks nice, but it gets repetitive.
I played Killzone 3 when it came out for the PS3 and you bought it along with the system. That's when I got it. Killzone 3, loved it to death. Killzone 4 was like a whole new beast and not in a good way. I think Killzone 4 killed the Killzone series. So if they want to know what's wrong with the series, play Killzone 4 after you play Killzone 3 and you'll see why.
Just make it more
Killzone 3 was awesome.
Shadowfall was like, yes, as a console game, it looked pretty amazing as a console game. But actually, when you get into the game and people are like, "No, dude, it's awesome," it's like, I said, "You people are just blind." I'm sorry, but it's not
Some
sorry.
people love their series when it comes to video games, and when it doesn't sell, and it's obviously it didn't sell, Killzone 4, there's a reason it didn't sell, because it sucked. Killzone
Yeah.
3 did sell. Killzone 3 on the PS3 is still a wonderful game. But sometimes these games, sometimes when they make the jump, or when they add on to another, thing, sometimes they go bad. And Killzone's a prime example. Killzone all the way to 3 is fine. At 4, trash. I would never want to touch Killzone again. On any type of console, even if they offer to me free, I will not play Killzone. It's just done.
No, they need to stop putting so much repetitive crap in the game. I know there's so many Sony fanboys and stuff that will argue with me. Yes, it's like, oh, graphically great, but once again, I think that was one of the first games I bought on PS4 because there wasn't that much, and I played through it, and it's just not that good.
I will tell you this:
Mediocre,
in Killzone 3, the player versus player option was a great option. Story wise, it was fine. I won't say it was the best thing since Skyrim, no way, but it was good. But once they took it to the PS4, it just didn't. It's simple. It's like drafting a pitcher from another team and putting it on your team, and you think you're getting a superstar, and you got a dud. He's just not that good on your team. This is the exact same thing. Killzone is a dead series. There's no way to bring it back. I'm sorry. It is sometimes when that happens, it kills the game. It kills the whole series. It's done. Even if they would say to offer me, here, Killzone 5 for the PC or the PS4 or PS5, we're giving it to you for free. I am not touching it. I just, if I want to play it, I'll go play Killzone 3 and be happy. Sometimes game companies don't deserve a second chance.
I mean, I used to buy the WWE games every year, the MLB games every year, the Madden series every year, and it just got to a point where all I'm doing is paying for a roster update. That's all I'm doing.
And remember, they were supposed to, in 2007, offer you just a free roster update. And you were only supposed to pay like $2 or $3. Well, that didn't work because they realized by the time Madden, say, example, 2008 came around, you're not likely to buy it. A lot of people were smart. They would skip one. Like, they would buy Madden 2007 and then wait for 2009. Because a lot of people weren't going to buy a Madden every year. At first, with the Madden, I was the same. I would buy every year. And then I got like you, Mike. I'm just paying for a roster update. Okay. Then they said, okay, we're going to make it easier for you. You can buy the updated roster. It went for 1 year and it was done. 1 year. You were told that if you got 2007, you would get the update to the 2008 roster for $3. Then you can update to the 2009 roster for $3. So you pay a small fee, you get the updated roster. You don't have to buy the complete download of the 2009. But EA got wise and said, oh, well, we're actually losing money. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jet Sparks is bringing up the Injustice game. That was one of the first games I bought for my PS4 as well, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I bought a brand new computer last year. At the same time, I bought a PS4. Okay, and everybody asked me.
I just want to say, have a good day to Cobra Disney Jedi, and thanks for stopping by, brother. Hope your doctor visit goes well.
And I had people ask me, why do I want to have a console when I have a supercomputer. You know, I spent $3,000 for this baby almost. There's some games I don't want to play on a PC. You know, a lot of my sports games I'm comfortable playing on my PS4. You know, and there's some games that most of my multiplayer online I want to play it on a PC, and I don't want to play it on a PS4. You know, I think it's people's choice, personally. But I will tell you this: if I had to do it again, I just stayed with the PC. You know, but
Well, it's like when I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, I wasn't playing it on my PC. I was playing it through my PS4.
you know, the thing that I don't like, and what's the problem is with the PC that you have with other consoles too, is in other ways, console only games. And my fear is, for example, Elder Scrolls 6. Since now Microsoft own it, will I be able to play it on a PC? Will I be able to play it on a PS5, for example? If you remember the craziness with Skyrim, when they start doing the DLCs, we all had to wait. It was the Microsoft first, the Xbox, then it was the PC, and then it took 4 or 5 months before you got it on the PlayStation. So, and I don't have any problems with it's released technically for one console, but it's going to be on the other consoles, but you have to wait. I don't mind a 4-month wait if that's the case. But once you push that 6 or 7-month wait, you know, that's the problem. Like I said, PC, you're in the middle of the lane if it's a console only. You know it's eventually coming for PC. But you're stuck between the other two because there's some games you're going to get on a PC, PlayStation 5 now, that you're not going to get on a Microsoft Xbox. And there's going to be some games on a Microsoft Xbox you're not going to get on a PS5. You know, sadly, that's the way the gaming companies work. You know, and you always think the PC is the neutral ground, but sometimes they don't get the games at all. Sometimes a couple months, sometimes a couple years. I don't think Killzone is on for the PC, and I don't think you can even touch it on a Xbox. So you're limited. You have to be just PlayStation. And even if this game, they made Killzone 4 tomorrow, you're already limited. You're just PlayStation. You now just alienate yourself from PC, which is a huge sales. And then if you're able to sell it on the Xbox, you kill out customers. You know, I like the games that are all across the board, you know. So, and they're right now, let's be honest. If you're playing the PC and you want to play Killzone, you really don't need to get Killzone. There's so many games like it. Rainbow Six. What's the other big one? Call of Duties. There's so many games like it. You're not missing anything. So
nope.
And like I said, I still to this day love Killzone 3. I still love it. But Killzone 4 for the PS4, that killed it for me. You know.
True. And Jet Sparks is bringing up a good point. I don't like the companies that have their own launchers, and that's the only way you can play the game. Instead of being able to go into Steam and just click on the game that you've paid for and you install on your PC to play it. No, you have to download a separate app so you can access the game and play it. And then, in the example of the Grand Theft Auto Remastered series, if there's some bit of code that people weren't able to see and people see it, then they take it down for several days. It's like, wait a minute, this game just came out a couple days ago, and now you're taking it down because of this code so you can make a patch. Meanwhile, I've paid $60 to play this game, and now I don't even have access to the game because if you're a screw up.
I don't like it either. I have Steam and I have three games from Bethesda. One is Skyrim, of course. What's the other one? Fallout 76. And the other one is Fallout 4. Okay. I don't like the idea that I have to go to Bethesda. As I'm logging into Steam, it also is logging into Bethesda to get the game to play. If something goes wrong with Bethesda tomorrow and their things aren't launchable, I can't access or play the game. Minus the Skyrim and the Fallout 4 because it's already downloaded in my gaming system, my computer. But as far as like 76, if they're done, I can't get in. But here's the other printer. If their server for the launcher goes down and everything is tied to that launcher, regardless if Steam is up or not, if that launcher goes down,
you can't play the game.
I can't play the game. Now, I can do it on my PS4. I can play Skyrim, but I can't play it on that because you need that launcher. And I don't know why Steam agreed to it, because it's like having two different launchers at the same time. It not only slows your computer down, but it bottlenecks you as you're logging in. So if I want to play a Bethesda game, it's a double login. It's ridiculous. I mean, think about it.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like I said, do you know how much it takes away? I have i9 processor. Even with the i9 processor, and I have 36 gigs of RAM. Do you know how much of a bottleneck on the load up I get first for Steam to load in, and then once I go and select the Bethesda game I want to play, have to do a second load in? I mean, I can show you guys on a privately, and you can see it. You'll be like, why do they have a double log? None of the other gaming companies have a double login besides Bethesda.
It's absolutely ridiculous. You don't need a double login. You just need a single login.
Once you log into platform, you're able to access any of it. You shouldn't have to wait for a second login to Bethesda. That's just ridiculous. So technically, here's what it took me a while to figure out. I'm older, 50, okay? Laugh at me. I bought 76. I thought I'd do like a typical Steam game. I log into Steam, I get my game. No. You had to put a password initially to get into that Steam. So you had to create a Bethesda password and a Bethesda account, okay? Now, the good news is once you make the account, all your Bethesda can go automatically under it. That's the only good thing. The bad thing, like I said, even if Steam went down, you still can't access your games because you're on Steam. You cannot jump over to the website and type your password in and log on to Bethesda without the Steam. You're buying through Steam, so you have to always log into Steam. Then you have to log in once you collect the game. Every day, every time you play, you're logging in to the Bethesda. So you have a double login, which means while you're playing your game, you're not only just getting sapped with your RAM and everything taking up space, but you're also getting slowed down because you have Bethesda in the background and you have the Steam in the background. I don't care how good your computer is, you're still going to get lag. I shouldn't. Yeah. I have a great. I have what they call it, Ryzen BIOS. Never have a problem with any lag on any other game. I have an i9. I have 36 gigs of RAM. I have a 3060 Ti. There's no excuse. I have a top of the line, almost a $3,000 computer gaming system. And I'm telling you, when I do any of the Bethesda games with the double login, I do at times, especially for during the peak games hours, I feel the lag. What can you do?
And there's nothing you can do. I mean, when these companies are bottlenecking your system because of all these processes, no matter how good your processor is, and trying to keep up, your system's going to slow down, like you're saying.
like I said, you can buy Call of Duty through Steam. You can buy them type of shoot 'em up games, multiplayer. Okay, and you don't have the double login, and it's fine. It only comes with. I'm not sure there's anybody else, but I can only say Bethesda does it, and that's so stupid. To this day, why do I look? Let's just say Bethesda had an issue. I go to Steam. I'm playing a game on Steam. I want to switch to a Bethesda. For some reason, it's down. All right, servers go down. Well, automatically when they finally go up, sometimes sometimes you have to do? Oh, I have to go hunt for my Bethesda name and code to type it in there so I can get it to work with Steam, as opposed to just logging into Steam, and if it's up and running, it's up and running.
Yep. And I like what Jet Sparks is saying here. Given how gaming is going right now, I got a feeling that retro gaming is going to make a comeback in some way. Yeah, I mean, you come to this channel, for example, don't be surprised if I start playing more retro games. I've done it before. And I'll continue to do it because some of the games of the past are the most fun to play.
I'm old fashioned. I like the games, Mike, in hand. That's why if I ever got a PS5, I don't want the downloadable version. I don't want downloadable. I want the PS5 that has the disc drive.
What, the physical copy?
Yes, because here's the thing. Power goes out. I can't access the internet. I pop in the game with the disc. I can play. I don't worry about trophies or anything like that. And even if the power comes back on, it's going to automatically log in and give me the trophies anyway. It's not stopping me from playing. Where it's a digital copy, you still have to go somewhere to get the copy to run. And once the power goes out, I'm not 100% sure you can even operate your PlayStation without the power to the internet.
Well, Cash was showing me Saints Row 4 the other day, and I was thinking to myself, I even said it to Cash that I should have played this when it came out. It looked that fun.
So Cash when he was a Grand Theft Auto person.
Excuse me. So this article from CBR says, what happened to the Killzone series? While Killzone once looked to be Guerrilla Games' star franchise, after the sequel, the series went downhill. What could have caused this? Well, let's see what they say. Guerrilla Games is well known for creating the gorgeous open world PlayStation exclusives Horizon Zero Dawn and its sequel Horizon Forbidden West. Still, there was a time when the Amsterdam developer was synonymous with the first-person shooter genre. Its smash hit Killzone, playfully dubbed the Halo Killer, redefined first-person shooters in a big way. Though the first game certainly had its flaws, the sequel is nearly perfect, but unfortunately the series falls apart after that. Killzone debuted on the PlayStation 2 in 2004 and was an immediate success. The sound effects are gritty and hard-hitting. The story is an intriguing exploration of right and wrong amid war, and the playable characters are all unique and fully realized. Killzone 2 was released in 2009, surpassing the first game in almost every way. The sequel is undoubtedly the best-looking first-person shooter for its time, and the game delves deeper into the Hellchat and ISA war than the first game. The ending, however, may not have been the best creative choice, as it triggers the franchise's decline in quality and story. Killzone is a game that shows how desperate people fighting to survive can be driven to acts of pure evil. The first game sets up the Hellchat to be the clear villains, but as the series unfolds, the line between good ISA and the bad Hellchat begins to blur. In the prologue, Helgon leader Scholar Asari tells the player that his people were abandoned by the ISA many years ago before on the planet then would become their home world. The harsh environment killed many, but those who survived saw the ISA as the true evil. The first person shooter looks at different perspectives in the context of war by allowing the player to change characters within their squad and between missions. By doing this, Guerrilla asks the player to try out different tactics for each mission and gain new perspective. Captain Jan Templar is a well-rounded soldier and a born leader. Sergeant Rico Velasquez is a tank with an intense hatred for the Hellcats. Colonel Gregor Hakan, I'm probably saying that one wrong, is a Hellgas turned ISA spy, and Shadow Marshal Lunger is the stealth agent and former love interest of Templar. Each character has a different playstyle and a vastly different perspective on the war between Holocaust and the ISA, creating a diverse and exciting squad to follow. What a Horizon Forbidden West sequel could learn from Monster Hunter. It goes on to say Killzone 2 further explores the gray area of war and the line between right and wrong, this time focusing on trauma, acts of violence, and propaganda. If the series kept the Killzone 2's upward trajectory, it would certainly still be considered the Halo killer, as the story, concepts, and characters are far more interesting than Bungie's hit series. In Killzone 2, the player is limited to one character, Thomas Shevchenko. But since he is greatly nuanced and has many moments of growth throughout the game, it doesn't feel like a step down from multiple playable characters. Though Killzone 2 is the best in the series, the ending is a notable moment where the series falters and never recovers. The conclusion sees the execution of Scholar Asari by Rico, which all but guarantees the war between the ISA and Helgon will never end. The people of Helgon will always see their leader, Asari, as a martyr, and they will always see the ISA as his executioners. In a radical spin-off of events, the end of Killzone 2 shows the ISA as the villains because their actions are what caused the war to continue. First Killzone games set the stage for what could have been a fantastic series by exploring the characters behind the violence. Ultimately, Killzone 3 does not continue this concept and instead opts for a more simplified good versus evil story, which ends with a decimation of the Helgon homeworld. Still, while the game didn't live up to its predecessors in terms of nuance and complex storytelling, the last act of the ruthless violence by the ISA could have been a fitting, albeit extremely somber ending to the trilogy. However, Guerrilla Games took one last kick of the can with Killzone Shadowfall. The latest entry feels entirely removed from the first two games, and its connection to Killzone 3 is underwhelming. Shadowfall has none of the heart that drove Killzone and Killzone 2, and even parts of Killzone 3. Maybe because Halo is a franchise still going strong, Guerrilla Games felt a responsibility to continue. Still, it's hard to enjoy a game where the heartfelt storytelling component is no longer present. Killzone should have ended with the death of Asari, as it became a shell of its former self in later entries. Now Guerrilla has moved on to the Horizon series, which hopefully will maintain its upward trajectory as it continues.
Think it was a little too harsh and off the mark for Killzone 3. Killzone 3, what made it popular. All right, how can I put this? Killzone storyline to me was better in Killzone 3 than Killzone 1 and 2. But honestly, this is a kind of weird. The Killzone 1, 2, and 3, well, more 2 and 3, isn't the storyline you're really playing for. You're wanting to play the game more for the multiplayer, okay? Teaming up with squads of 4 and doing that type of number. They had different maps. Sometimes you were able to buy more maps if you wanted more maps. Killzone 3 was a great multiplayer game. Did it focus on the storyline? It had a story. It kind of took the story of Killzone 2 into 3, but it wasn't a... How can I put it? There are some RPG games that have multiplayer aspects, and because of the multiplayer aspect, the RPG version of the game is maybe 10 hours, and that's it. If I wanted, I can remember back in the day playing Killzone 3, because I was determined that weekend to do it, I was able to, in 10 hours, complete the storyline, okay? But the storyline wasn't the real reason I was buying the Killzone. I was buying the Killzone for the multiplayer aspects of it. And that's why you wanted Killzone 3. Okay? It was, the way to compare it, it was Warhammer, the modern one, not the medieval one. Modern Warhammer, but like I said, it had the aspects of multiplayer gaming. And if you didn't like multiplayer gaming, Killzone 3 was not for you. Simple. That's the only way I can put it. Today, there's a lot of single RPG games. Skyrim. Wonderful RPG games. But if you want to play multiplayer, then you go online and play the Elder Scrolls Online. There's a difference there. I can tell you this. There wasn't much of a difference between single player and multiplayer on Killzone. Because sometimes you're running around in the single player, the story part, and you had NPCs that were working like people would in a multiplayer game. It had that going for it. So I think, like I said, to me, Killzone 3 was the top of the line, and then they dropped it. They dropped the ball. I love Killzone 2, but when you play Killzone 4, you see why. Like I said, a lot of people play Call of Duty, and that's, I guess, the next best game I can compare it to. There's a storyline in all your Call of Duties. But I can tell you this, I know people that played the storyline, but the real reason buying that game isn't to play the single-player storyline. It's to play what? The multiplayer. And that was Killzone. At the time, the only thing you can compare it to before Killzone came, it was a competition for I'm trying to think of the names of the games. Rainbow Six.
Mm-hmm.
The one I just mentioned, they have a medieval version, they have the modern version, Warhammer. But think of Warhammer as a single player, not a multiplayer. Well, it does have the multiplayer, but you know what I mean? That's what they were competing against. You know, and having that multiplayer thing back in 2010 and 2012-ish, that was huge. That was huge. You're getting away from multiplayer 2 players. You're now getting into multiplayer 4 players. Not that they didn't have it, but without an adapter where you had, I'm going to meet you online. You have a PS3. I have a PS3. You have Killzone. I have Killzone. Hey, we can play all day long.
Mm-hmm.
That was your first option. This is before the multi-platform came out, where you got.
This is before crossplay.
Yep. Like I said, you can play Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic online. It's still there, still going strong. You can try playing that game solo. You can. For the storyline, you can. But to get the true aspects and the feel of the gaming, it's not just the storyline. You got to play the multiplayer part, where you got to play, unfortunately, with other people. You know? Like I said, Killzone, I think the person who wrote this, I could see the love for Killzone 2, but I think he took Killzone 3 and kind of, you don't get a PlayStation release with a Killzone in the box and not have a great gaming, a game. It has to be a great game. You can't name me like a PlayStation like Spider-Man. When it was released with you can get a PS3 or 4 for Spider-Man. I can't speak for the Xboxes. I'm not an Xbox person, but most of them games that came with the system were always a huge hit. They don't put the scrub game into the PlayStation box and say, "Here's Ratchet and Clank." Not that there was a scrub.
Well,
game.
Even back in the day, Nintendo was smart enough to put Super Mario Brothers in with the NES, and if it wasn't Super Mario Brothers, it was the combo pack that had Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt or Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt and Track and Field.
Yep.
Even Sega was smart enough to put Sonic the Hedgehog in with the console at the time, or even Altered Beast. That was one of the first games they would include with the system.
Turok and 64, you had it. But here's the thing where the Killzone, that was for Sony only. And this was the start of only games. Like, you couldn't get Killzone, and if your friend has an Xbox, you can't, unfortunately, you guys can't play together because Killzone can't go on Xbox. Not that I know of that I have it, but you couldn't, if Fable was multiplayer game, you couldn't play it on. They're not going to let you get a Sony copy. Of a Fable game. It's Fable's only for the Xbox, But for the multiplayer aspects, you see it. This was the only thing that was Sony only. Okay, you might got away with Rainbow Six crossing over, Call of Duty crossing over. Some of them games they're crossover games. This was a Sony only. And for better or for worse, it did good for Sony on one hand, but it's always worse when you don't have it open to the PC and the Xbox and vice versa. You're going to sell more copies.
You're going to sell more copies, but and I could be wrong on this. Anybody who's listening, lurking in the chat, or even after the live stream is done, but this whole exclusive thing, and like I said, I could be wrong, but it all started back there in the 16-bit era between Nintendo and Sega.
I like I said, if I'm a video game company, and regardless if I have a system or not, let's say I do have a system. Yes, I will want some games first. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm released first on a Sega. But I would still, even if I'm the Sega company that owns the Sega game that's coming out, I would still say, hey, I can still make a ton of money being able to release it for the people on PC. And I'm still going to make a lot of money. Hey, I'll make a deal with Microsoft and put it on their system. You're going to sell more copies. When you do it just one system, to me, it just bottoms out. Just my opinion.
Nothing wrong with it. Why limit yourself? And that's what these companies have done. They limit themselves. Oh, wait, the Super Nintendo's the hot system. That's how they're looking at it, too. It's selling more units than, the Sega Genesis. So, Nintendo offers us this exclusive deal. Produce this game only for our system. money talks as well. And that's what happened as far as video games are concerned. But moving on from video games, let's go to our last story of the stream, and it's from comicbook.com, and it's talking about Chainsaw Man XXT's Yoshida's anime debut. Goes on to say Chainsaw Man is on the horizon at last, and its fall debut promises to be one of the biggest in recent history. Denji is all revved up for his anime review, or debut. I don't know why I said review. After all, and the team at Studio Mappa feels much the same way, and recently the company's CEO addressed when one of the most popular characters in Chainsaw Man will make their debut. So if you have a guess about this character, you better make it now. There are only a few characters who can outdo Power and Makima. And I might be saying that wrong. Please correct me in the chat. Or Cash, if you want to correct me, please do. When it comes to popularity. If you guess Yoshida, you're right. And Manabu Atsuka is eager for the character to pop up in an upcoming PV. The comment comes from the CEO himself, as Asuka appeared at Crunchyroll Expo to hype all things Chainsaw Man. It was there the producer was asked which characters he's most excited to see on the screen. It turns out Yoshida Hirofumi is high on that list, and they will show up before long. According to Atsuka, Yoshida is very popular with the ladies, so he's eager to see how the character adapts to the screen. At this time, the Devil Hunter has not shared who will voice them, but Asuka promises that information will drop before long. In fact, executive producer Makoto Kimura told fans Yoshida's casting would likely be revealed at a Chainsaw Man event this September in Japan. The gathering will reveal more of the anime's cast, which already includes some top-tier talent. The show's main cast was announced this past weekend, so you can read up on that list below. I'm not going to read that. I'll let you all read it with a link that I supplied in the chat. It says, are you ready to see Yoshida make his small screen debut? Will you be tuning into Chainsaw Man when it launches? What are your thoughts? Well, I'm curious about it. I heard people hyping it up, watching different YouTubers, so I might check it out. I'm not all familiar with the manga or the lore of the character, but I'm still curious enough to check it out.
This was one thing you got me. Yeah, I'm all Greek on this. Sorry, my friend.
That's all right. And thank you for stopping by, Jet Sparks. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to check out any anime once. Whether I like it or not, well, I have to determine that.
Always.
I'm willing to check out Chainsaw Man when it debuts. And speaking of anime, I will be having an anime stream this coming Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, where it'll be myself talking about my experience watching anime for a full year now, and some guests, including one of them who is currently on this panel, Cash Money. We will be talking about anime. They will be talking about what brought them to anime, what they like about anime, what they don't like about anime, their favorite story arcs, their favorite characters. It'll be a fun stream, and maybe some of you will be convinced just by hearing other people's experiences that, convinced to give anime a shot, a look. And DJ Ronnie G says, I might be interested in that. Okay. Well, here's what I'll do, DJ Ronnie G, is I will send you the invite on Saturday. If you're able to join, cool. If you're not able to join, no hard feelings.
I always go by that some of the things I consider anime, a lot of people don't. My anime is Speed Racer. To me is anime. I know some people might say he's not, but yes, to me he is. The next big thing after Speed Racer as a kid was Star Blazers. That was really my introduction really into anime. To me, and a lot of people don't know this, Star Blazers is older than Star Wars. Even though in some places of the country, and when I mean the country, I mean the United States, I got my Star Blazers 75. Some other places in the country didn't get Star Blazers until 78, 79. Because, again, American anime was, or animation, if you want to call it, was bigger. Hanna-Barbera was king.
Yeah.
Even at the time.
Disney was king at one point.
Yep. And American animation, if you want to call it that, or cartoons, however you want to define it, took a steep decline around around 1980. That's when you start seeing the Japanese really catch up and starting to surpass us in animation.
Well, not only that, you had, cartoons that were produced here. They may not have been animated here, but a lot of the companies were outsourcing the animation.
Yep.
So, you'd see an episode of Transformers, for instance, animated by Toei, and you can see, all the detail. And then there's another company, the name of the company is slipping my mind at the moment, but they would animate an episode and you could see a drastic difference in quality.
I mean, look at it cartoon wise. Star Blazers is a story. Even though you say, oh, it's cartoons, it's a story. And it's a very in-depth story, as much as Star Trek or Star Wars. American animation, I couldn't. We had like Super Friends, but was there a big storyline in any of them? No, it was big storyline would be in that episode, and that's it. Where
then they move on.
Then
each episode would be different.
We like I said, growing up in the 70s and hitting into the 80s, you can see the difference starting to creep in between Japanese anime and American cartoons. And don't get me wrong, people love the American cartoons still to this day. You're always going to love the Bugs Bunny. You're going to the Looney Tunes and all that. But you see American cartoons just being bland. Tom and Jerry, great cartoons, but it start going bland. Japanese start going really in depth. And then we start getting the Japanese anime movies, cartoons, something like Howl's Moving Castle, Tiki's mailing service. These are not just a 30-minute cartoon in a morning clip. This is a show. This is a soap opera. This is everything that you want. It's in depth. It's something a little kid can watch and get into just as much as a parent can get into. So for me, Japanese really took it off. And even to this day, I will say, yes, there's other foreign cartoons. Two big ones are Japanese anime and whatever's left of the American cartoons, which isn't much now. So, the last thing that I can ever compare it to that had a chance was Gargoyles, that had a lot of the voice actors from TNG. That was an American cartoon that actually had a storyline, kind of like a Japanese animation, but it was all American cartoon work. And I
Well,
know
also, Gargoyles, when it came out at the time, it was trying to compete with Batman the Animated Series.
Yep. And like I said, we do have ours. But you look back in the day in the 70s, you look at what we had. We had Jabberjaws. We had Catch That Pigeon. American Heroes, where they're all little Diaper Man, Cuckoo Man. We had some pretty good ones, but it wasn't up to Japanese. Took it to a whole new level, I remember Godzilla with Godzuki. That was still Japanese, even though it was over here in the States, but that still had the Toho name on it. Japan doesn't like it because we have Godzilla, and not Godzilla, Godzuki. They don't like that we have Godzuki. Godzilla's not supposed to have a kid, but I'm pretty sure you've seen Godzilla the cartoon.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Now, like I said, the standard of it, we can't kick it. A lot of big one was Johnny Quest, and everybody praised it. But I would be honest, it's a mess compared to what the Japanese were doing. They made sense. Or Johnny Quest, man, it's easy to get lost in the story. I mean, it was one of them you can watch here, you can watch there, but you didn't have to watch it every day. You weren't deep into it. Super Friends as a kid, that was something you got into. Hong Kong Philly was something that we were big into. But if you look into style and the way it's made and how it's portrayed, it's day as a night compared to Japanese anime. Sorry if I rambled. There's no other way to say it.
No, because you can see that animation styles differ drastically.
Sorry, I had someone in the background. Yeah, like I said, for me, we're getting animation. Speed Racer was my first, and then Star Blazers. And for me, Star Blazers was the king. So if you watch it, you can see how for something made in 1975, how great it was. Look on YouTube, and you'll see George Lucas borrowed heavily from it. Second season is fighting the Common Empire. You look at that thing, and it's the Death Star. And no, Star Blazers didn't steal from George Lucas. George Lucas stole that from Star Blazers.
Oh.
Don't you start with me, Cash Money.
Wow, I never knew creators could actually borrow other stuff from other properties.
I didn't say borrow, I said steal.
Uh-huh.
Borrow means you're giving it and maybe you're paying for it. Stealing is you took it.
You're gonna have to prove that.
How can I prove it?
I'm sure he.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody took ideas
Star
from
Blazers,
people.
The Common Empire is if you hold the Common Empire and you look at a copy of the Death Star, it's almost identical.
Well,
Same
I mean, Lucas also got a lot of ideas from samurai films.
And watching World War II footage, especially when it came to,
was there a Death Star in either one of them movies or TV shows or any of them videos? No. He stole flat out the Common Empire. And you look at Derek Wildstar, that's the American version of it, or whatever his name in Japan. I'm sorry, I can't say his Japanese name, so I ain't gonna butcher it like Mike. But Wildstar, he's kind of similar in a lot of ways to Luke Skywalker, minus the Jedi stuff. Talking fighter pilot, you almost compare the two. So, like I said, don't have to take my word for it. Huh?
People use ideas of stuff, man. I mean,
okay, borrowing an idea is fine. Taking the whole thing and changing names.
People have stolen ideas too, but
that's why they have copyrights. George,
you know the story about Metallica, right? How they got their name?
I heard
Lars
different
heard it in a
stories.
boardroom meeting or something one time, and he said, "Oh, I like that name," and he kept it for himself, and then the band became that. I think that's pretty much the story. Yeah, I think that's.
I
something
mean,
else.
when it comes to early Metallica, there's a lot of stories. Hard to tell what's truth, but I know this: George Lucas in '78 tried to sue Battlestar Galactica because they said it was too much like Star Wars, which it wasn't. And as soon as he tried to put a lawsuit in, the two people that created Star Blazers said, "Okay, we'll put a lawsuit in." George Lucas decided to stop it. He never went through with it. And you can watch Star Blazers, and you can watch Star Wars, and you can watch Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars. None of it's the same. None of it's the same. It's only thing that's in common is space. That's it.
Well, people see ideas of other shows, and I mean, what Star Blazers is what 78,
75.
75. So yeah, a few years before New Hope, or actually at that time we'll just Star Wars. But
And like I said, I mean, is it avoidable? You know, you make a fighting spaceship, fighter style and spaceship. Everybody's going to look somewhat the same. You're going to have space battleships. They're going to kind of look the same, not necessarily 100%, but kind of look the same and perform the same deal. It is what it is. I mean, everybody could probably be saying we owe a check to get India to send a check to Gene Roddenberry at that point. It's all, like I said, I have a problem with it is when George Lucas decided he thought his was the only thing that's legit. Everybody else gets sued. And like I said, Battlestar Galactica original series, if you ever watched it, has nothing in common at all with Star Wars. Except their Vipers shoot lasers and the Battlestar Galactica shoots lasers. That's the only thing similar. Other than that, the whole storyline is totally different. They're no Jedi. So.
No, but they were still trying to capture the magic that Star Wars created by creating something that had a battle in space.
Yeah, but then again, would you say that they were copying that because that's battle? We'll use the American term, Star Blazers.
I wouldn't say they were trying to copy it word for word, but they were trying to, like I said, capture that, that rise of Star Wars and ride that wave. What can we create?
I think in a way you can say that, but then you can say the same thing. Star Wars was copying the craze of Battlestar Star Blazers because Star Blazers was big. If you ask anybody around that time, what was one of your favorite cartoon series? Star Blazers is up there. I mean, maybe not somebody growing up in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But at that time, I was
definitely not around for that. So.
Yeah, well, when
it came out,
when that came out, like I said, I seen it in '75. We were fortunate; we're one of the first areas of the country to have it. A lot of areas of the country didn't get it till '79. Okay, but they knew about it and they wanted it. But see, it wasn't something that was on the big three. It was mostly on a UHF channel, which doesn't exist anymore. A Fox channel that was a Fox channel before Fox. So hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys.
Well, I mean, we know people have stolen ideas or saw stuff, but they also get inspired too. So I'm guessing Lucas also got inspired of what he saw. If that's what did happen, that he saw Star Blazers and thought, oh, this has inspired me, just like when he watched samurai movies
or the original
Westerns.
Flash Gordon.
Yes, which is quite goofy, but it still has its charm, I guess, and it is probably one of the best soundtracks since Queen did the whole soundtrack for the movie, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It still blows my mind. Yeah. I mean, even something probably like Dungeons and Dragons was inspired by something else. I can't imagine it wasn't.
Yep.
Even though it's pretty much considered the foundation, because without Dungeons and Dragons, we don't have WoW. We don't have these RPGs, these Japanese RPGs. I don't think we have any of this.
No, not at all. I mean,
But we can say that about a lot of things. It's just, I just wish a lot of these studios would say, you know what, let's just not bring something old back. It's great for what it is, and instead promote it. Hey, we're going to be showing this at the theater again, like they've done with some movies. Go watch it. That's what they should do.
Yeah,
Instead
I mean,
of making a lot of this stuff, because they want to change it, and I just don't feel it's going to work. And it's always for the newer generation, but yeah.
but see, and this is just my opinion, the newer generation isn't going to care about it like other generations before them did.
No.
If they have no, attachment to it, they're not going to care about it.
Right.
I mean, the reason why people care about The Wizard of Oz is because it's aired on TV each and every year.
Yes. Well, it is a classic, so.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this edition of Pop Talk. I want to thank you for joining me, Cash. Also, Phil, thank you for joining. Anonymous, thank you for joining. Gap After Dark, thank you for joining. And for everybody in the chat, I want to acknowledge DJ Ronnie G. I also want to acknowledge Jet Sparks. Thank you, gentlemen. I also want to say thank you to Cover Disney Jedi for stopping by. I also want to thank the aforementioned Anonymous. I also want to say thank you to Pops, and thank you for creating those clips. Really appreciate it. Glad I was able to use them with your permission. Of course, Phil McCracken. GMC, thank you for stopping by, brother. Really appreciate it. And also Matt from Channel 66. It's great to see you, brother. Can't wait till next Saturday. He's one of the guests who will be on the anime stream. We also had Kathy Skywalker here today. We also had Resolute Germ. Thank you, Resolute Germ. And let's see. We also had Glenn Schroeder. Thank you for stopping by. Good to see you. It's been a while. And of course, Gap After Dark. We also had Captain Fandom Nerd. Thank you for stopping by. And let's see. Anyone else? I don't want to. Of course, the Comic Relief Crusader. Mike, good to see you, brother. And again, thank you, Cash. Thank you, Phil, for being on the panel.
No problem, dude. It was fun.
Is there anything you'd like to promote?
Well, we gotta talk soon about that stream we're gonna do. But if you're doing something with Pops on Wednesday, then I guess we can pick another day. So if that's already set in stone.
Well, that stream with Pops on Wednesday is going to be at 5:30 Eastern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do that stream right after I was done with Pops, we can.
Okay.
There just won't be a Wednesday edition Pop Talk that night.
Right. All right. Sweet.
Cool. So you heard it here first, folks. There may not be a Wednesday Pop Talk, but don't worry. You can find me over with Cash on Phantom Hooligans. And do we want to tell them what we're discussing, or do we want to wait?
We can wait if you want. We can
Okay.
surprise people.
All right. Sounds good. And with that being said, before you leave, if you like what you saw here, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. Share this video with your friends. Subscribe to everybody who was on the panel. The links are in the chat. I will make sure I put their links in the description, or at least at them in the description. This way you can subscribe to them. And appreciate everybody for being here. And have yourselves a good rest of your Sunday. And until next time, this has been Mike for PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, saying, I'm not just a baseball guy, I'm an all-around guy. Take care, all.